Coming at you live from the White Claw Hard Seltzer Studios. John Reed, Sam Beard, Bad News Bubba. Happy Monday morning to you as we come in to the freshened up White Claw Hard Seltzer Studios. I gotta say, this feels weird.
Yeah, you look like miles away right now.
Yeah, I'm disoriented right now. If you're watching on Twitter or if you're one of the freaks on YouTube, top of the morning to you. It looks a little bit different, but it feels completely different. Like it makes me feel like the room echoes now, or like I'm screaming. We moved the desk back. William Passon was in here revamping everything. The video presentation, I do think, is going to look much better. But in terms of the host room, feels very strange.
I mean, I've got bad eyesight. I feel like I'm watching you out in like left field right now. Like I'm sitting behind home plate and I'm trying to make out the number of the outfielder. Like, is that John over there?
My claustrophobia, I think, is triggered too.
You're like too far back into the wall.
I'm too close to this damn wall.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to take some getting used to.
Yeah.
Like I can't really. I mean, I guess I can scoot back further than I think, but I feel like the wall's right on top of me. It's going to take some getting used to.
Change is good.
Not always. Change sometimes is bad. Sometimes it's good. I do think it looks good. I can't imagine that the shows that have two guys in here, because right now, we just got one in here. The big guy's on hiatus. It's just me in here right now. If he was here, we'd be like right on top of each other, and he would hate it. He'd be so mad right now. Because like
would
the
want
desk
to move his desk like further up.
Yeah, the desk got
stagger him, get away from you.
Yeah, he'd probably want to. I don't know if that would work or not. But we'd be so close to each other.
You feel closer than even the last setup.
Oh yeah, I mean the desks are much closer than they were. They're about 1.5 feet closer. I mean, here they're basically touching. Here we're basically sharing a table, or we would be theoretically.
Is that our next step? One massive desk instead of two separate ones?
Probably.
Could probably just put those together somehow.
How are you this morning, Sam?
I'm doing pretty solid. Went back to Nashville for the weekend, got my car fixed up, so that felt good. That one's been just hanging over my head for way too long because this damn part just took like 1.5 months, 2 months longer than it really needed to get in. So that one finally came in, went to the, trusty shop that we've always gone to back in Nashville where the guy's not just price gouging you all the way. So you find one of those, you got to stick with them. So I just went back, had a little time, saw the family. Girlfriend came back with me. We went to the zoo. That was the first time I'd gone to the Nashville Zoo in so long.
What is it with everybody in my life going to the damn zoo?
Zoo's great.
That's what my old lady did. They went to Cincinnati this weekend, and
that's a good zoo.
One of the reasons they went to the Cincinnati Zoo was,
or went to
Cincinnati was to go to the zoo. Go ahead, Bubba.
That's a cursed place up there.
Yeah, Harambe.
Yeah.
I like instantly got nostalgia when I walked back into the Nashville Zoo because, I mean, I guess I wouldn't expect all of the exhibits to just completely change, but like right when you walk in, there's this set of monkeys right when you get in there, and I took like 2 steps to the left, and then I just instantly like transformed back into like my 6-year-old self, just hearing those monkeys howl and pointing at them. And I don't know, it was fun to go back to something I hadn't been to in a while. And honestly, the Nashville Zoo's gotten a lot better than I expected. I saw our new, I think it was our clouded leopard cubs, very cute. They're going to have a great life growing up next to a data center.
What's the latest on that?
I don't know. I haven't kept really close ties to it, but I think it's just going to go through. Those things never seem to like get upheld.
Yeah. I'm glad you like the zoo. I've got zero interest in going out there while it's so hot.
It was really hot. My mom was like, are you sure you guys want to do that? And we were like, I don't really have too much else to do. We were kind of just killing time while my car was getting fixed.
Uh-huh.
And the place that we go to is kind of over by the zoo. So
yeah, I would
Worked
be
out.
maybe open to this in like the fall,
yeah,
maybe. But yeah, the weather.
once we got about 85, 90% of the way through, we were like, man, it is scorching hot out here.
So were
Why
there
are we
any
doing this?
new animals that you hadn't really seen before?
Yeah. That's what I was talking about, the clouded leopard cubs.
Okay, well, you said it was just nostalgic. I didn't know if like that was they'd been there.
No,
for
I
a
think
while.
I think that's one of the species that the Nashville Zoo specifically is like trying to re-inhabit or like get,
Save.
yeah, like basically just go from endangered to having a couple cubs and repopulating. That's the word I was looking for.
Mhm.
So I think that was kind of a big deal. That was kind of the first time they've had those cubs on display, I guess. But no, I mean there hasn't been a whole lot change or different.
Did you drive by the fairgrounds?
No.
Bubba,
What's up, John?
good morning, my friend.
Morning, sir.
What's up?
I'm in shambles. I got bit by some fire ants over the weekend, and now just
Oh.
points in my body just hurt. Like on my thumb here, there's a little speck of just not coolness. And then this morning, my headliner decided to go to shambles, but like the sun visor part, that's what I meant to say. That just like halfway came off, and then all this dust just pours all over me.
Mm.
And that immediately took my vibe from, hey, to just like, I'm going to hurt somebody. So that was a thumbs down. That gets a big doom this morning, John.
No booms, only dooms.
No. Yeah.
Well,
I have discovered something, though.
okay.
It's very personal,
All right.
but I think I've found my sleeping method.
Nice.
Heck yeah, Boa.
Let's go. Want to share?
I do.
Okay.
It might make you uncomfortable. That's not up for me to judge.
Your whole presence just kind of makes me a little uncomfortable.
All right.
That is the good thing about this new setup is moving the desk back a little bit from your. I can't see your wild eyes as good as I could last time.
Oh, well, thank you, I guess. I started sleeping with as little clothing as possible.
Oh, yeah.
And by that, I mean
Been
no
doing that.
clothing optional.
Yeah, I've been doing that since like 7th grade. That's the only way I can sleep.
Because I got that. I got the fan. I got the pillow between the legs, too, to take some pressure off the lower lumbar. I'm on my side. Sometimes I'll fall asleep to just some like quaint just noise, but it can't be loud though. And I'm a golden goose up there.
This now begs the question as to how the hell you were trying to sleep before. No fan?
Based on his
in
old
clothes?
sleep habits, it feels like Bubba was just in like a parka, like in 95-degree heat.
No wonder you couldn't sleep. All those damn clothes you were wearing, no fan, no coolness on you, no noise, just raw dogging, just laying there in bed, sweating.
I thought Bubba was going to have some like incredible sleep cocktail made up, like this magnesium,
The eye trick.
melatonin.
Yeah, something like the eye trick I tried to give him.
He's
About road.
just
No,
sleeping naked.
that doesn't work.
It might not. I don't know. My sleep's gotten better since I've tried it.
I
but
do occasionally drink Tizo some nights, and that helps with it.
Just wait till you're sipping naked tea.
Just sitting there, just naked, drinking tea at the edge of his bed.
That sounds awesome. I can't wait to go back to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, what were you sleeping in beforehand?
No, I mean, it's pretty much I just made the decision to go just nude
No. But what were you sleeping in before you decided to go nude?
underwear.
Okay, so it wasn't like you were wearing like shirt too,
No.
just underwear. Fair enough. Yeah, no, I've had to be naked pretty much since like 7th grade.
Had to be.
Kind of. Could I fall asleep in clothes? Yeah, sure, eventually, but the vast my limit is like if I'm sharing like a hotel room or something with somebody these days, like
Yeah, you can't do that.
there was a time when I would still do it. Just had to get over it. It's a very uncomfortable cruise I went on with my family. Me, my dad, and my stepbrother in one room. And I was like, sorry, boys. Getting naked.
Night one, just dropping the drawers
Yep.
at the end of the bed, climbing up that ladder to the.
No, this was it was a 3-person. So like my stepbrother's on the top bunk and me and my dad were just like in a queen size bed, or hell, maybe it was a full size bed. I don't know. Trying to put a pillow in between us if he had a problem with it. Boom, naked, just me and my dad.
I'll normally give people the courtesy of at least just some boxers or something if I'm sharing a room with someone.
I got 2 nice pairs of like sweat shorts.
Yeah.
That are nice. I wear those now. I could sleep in there, but no shirt on. I can't do a shirt. Can't do a shirt. But those sweat shorts, I could put those on and still sleep pretty good, as long as I don't like toss and turn too much.
There does seem to just be some better philosophy about sleeping naked. You just feel more.
Feels complete.
Feels natural.
It is weird because you would think that like you would feel unsafe, or like there is a part of me that's always worried about like if there's a fire or something and you're just completely naked and you have to get up.
I have a pair of shorts or something in reach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Normally I keep a pair of shorts like at the edge of my bed.
Yeah. There's been times though when I lived, out in the country or something, something be going on outside or somebody be at your damn door, pulling up your driveway. Always had to get worried about getting robbed, getting robbed by like meth
or you just
heads
take your
something.
blanket and just like wrap around it.
Yeah. There were times I just run to the door though, just naked.
Maybe that's just a jump scare for the robber.
Yeah. Nah.
That's their fault, not yours.
It'd be disorienting. I'm a grower. Yeah.
On the way there, just take a couple minutes.
Just gotta fluff a little bit. It does cross my mind, Bubba. There would be times, a weird number of times in like a 3-month period, 3 people just pulled up to my driveway. And like my driveway was off the road pretty good. But it was like the first house you'd see if you were looking for trouble.
After the second time, did you think that the third car was associated at some point?
I started keeping a gun right next to the door. I think they were together, but I did start keeping a gun next to the door and trying to keep the door chained. But one time the door wasn't chained, and like the guy was literally just opening my door. I don't know if he was opening like the screen door to knock, but I intercepted and was like, "Yo!" At that point, there was no car outside, so like he was up to no good. And he's like, "Oh, I'm looking for some." I'm like, no, not here.
Not here.
He's a pretty big old boy, though. I'm glad he didn't like want to kick in on me. I had clothes on at that time.
It's good.
One time, this girl pulled basically a Strangers move on me. You ever seen the movie Strangers?
No.
Knocked on the door. Was just like, "Is Tamara home?" I mean, that's what she says in the movie of The Strangers. But she knocked on the door. Was like, "Can I use your phone?" It was like 10 o'clock at night. I was like, "No."
Sounds like Sinners too.
Yeah, there was a guy standing next to her, like to the side of my door. Like, definitely seemed like he was trying to hide. Where if I open the door and give her my phone, boom, they're going to knock me in the head. Or at the very least, they were going to steal my phone. At the very least, they were going to steal my phone.
Mm-hmm.
I take it back. That was more like at 7 o'clock. There was still some sunlight outside that time. At the very least, though, like I was going to come outside, something bad was going to happen. Another time, I did give a guy a ride though. Against my better judgment. It was like 11:30 at night. Monday Night Raw had just gone off, and he had knocked on my door, and he was covered in sweat, and he had his like pit bull with him, and he was like saying that he had been walking, and I did see him walking earlier, like at like 9 o'clock when I got off the interstate. He was hoofing it through town, and he knocked on my door and was like, "Brother, I got like 5 miles left. It's 11:30. My grandma won't answer her phone. Is there any chance you'd give me a ride?" For some reason, Zeus's law kicked in, Bubba. I was like, I got to treat every guy like he's a god. Be kind to him. So I said, sure, I'll give you a ride. Stay here. Then I went up to the farm, got a flatbed truck, and I was like, you guys can sit in the back of the flatbed. That's all I got for you. Hold your dog. And he's like, all right. Then I pulled up like 5 miles down the road. Of course, I could get off the road, and it's like a huge like driveway up a dark hill. Or up like a dark, like I was like, I ain't going up there. I was like, I can let you out here and you can walk up to grandma's house. It might be a trek for you, brother. I was like, but I ain't going up there. And he hopped off, and that was it.
I gave a ride to a tweaker once.
I don't know if he was a tweaker or not. I don't know if he was or not. He was covered in sweat because it was hot, not because he was tweaking and he'd been walking. He very well could have been a tweaker, Bubba.
It spooked me though, because it's like mine. Like I was home alone. I was still in high school.
That is scary.
And this one comes out of nowhere, and it's like out of all the houses, like my neighbors, they just pick mine.
Yeah.
And she starts banging on our door, and I'm like, "Oh God, what's up?" And she's like, "You can start. I just want to ride somewhere." And I was like, "Oh, okay," because she's like, "I need to get to my job." So I took her up to her job. And then she's like, I lied, actually. I need to ride further elsewhere. It's here. It's not too much further. And I was like, are you, kidding me? Like, what the heck? Like, this is not cool. But then went up this long ass driveway. Interesting looking house.
Were you scared?
A little bit. I was looking around, but my car fit right in. I had this old piece of junk that was like rusted in so many spots, so
Yeah.
it looked standard. Well, that was interesting.
That's probably why she knocked on the door. She's like, I can trust this guy.
Yeah, this guy's one of me.
This guy's seen hard times, Daddy. He'll give me a break.
It made me feel really bad though.
Yeah. I did feel nice for giving that guy a ride. Because like I said, I did see him walking. He had about another 5.5 miles to go with his pup. Maybe if he didn't have a dog with him, I wouldn't have done it, but I felt bad for both of them. Plus, it's like 11:30 at night, and if I said no, I didn't want him like hanging outside my house the rest of the night.
Yeah.
That was part of it. Didn't want to have to deal with him. Because, I mean, I do feel like you have to be pretty bold or desperate or both to come knock on somebody's door at 11:30 at night, which my porch light was on. But still, it was well after 11 o'clock.
Did you ever feel like you got like something good in return for giving that ride?
I mean, I have a blessed life. I feel like karma's been pretty good to me.
I had a pretty good karma moment. We saved this drunk girl from getting a DUI because she like passed out and her door is just wide open. And we're just like, oh, we can't be doing this, hun. Like, you gotta handle your stuff better.
What'd you do?
Thankfully we had
turn her car off.
We had a lady like in our group, so she like kind of felt comfortable enough,
Uh-huh.
So we took this girl back to her apartment. She was a student at UT, and then like the next week, I found a pretty nice rangefinder on the course.
Nice.
So,
hell yeah.
My good karma thing these days is I just flash my lights at people that have their headlights off. That happens more than you think. It's crazy to me. People getting in their car and their headlights aren't on, which I guess not to brag, I guess, but my car's the last two I've had have been you get that has an auto setting, which I don't feel like it's a flex or anything. Most people's do at this point. But I guess not everybody's does, or maybe they turn them off. I don't know, but I try to give the courtesy, like flash, 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 like turn your headlights on, brother. And one time these high school kids did not understand what I was doing, and they were like yelling out the car at me at a red light, and I was like, all right, brother, go ahead. Like, all good. It's like they were wanting to be hostile towards me. I couldn't have taken all of them. But they were just screaming back at the car, like, what are you doing? And I was like, never mind, you're good.
What, just
Jerks.
scream? Turn your lights on, you DA.
The way they were acting, I didn't want to help them at that point. You'll figure it out. The old urban legend, Sam says, if you did that to people, that was gang initiation. And they'd turn around, they'd drive you off the road.
Can't be having that.
No. If you did like on a highway and you flash at somebody, they'd whip a U-turn and then like, get behind your car and like just run you off the road, basically. Kill you. So be careful who you flash your lights at. It is the first day of SEC Media Days. Josh Heupel, Tennessee, set to take the stage, but not until 2:55. They're in the afternoon session, so you won't hear from the hype man until damn near time for the drive.
It's good for us, honestly.
Good
having to act like he's saying something interesting
as
we're doing the show.
Yeah, and it'll give us at least a chance to dissect it, to have, if he does say anything interesting, to have it to start Tuesday's show, because we're here in the dead of summer, and I actually hate this week because of that reason. I try to get excited. I try to sound excited right now. Everyone talks about the unofficial kickoff to football season. I hate it because it does try to make you feel like football's here, but it's not. It's just like nonstop boring press conferences. And then we'll get like, oh, here's some all SEC teams. And then we'll have to pretend like we know if Missouri's defensive end's good enough to be ahead of this guy. The order of finish does give us at least a little something to dissect. I do think the order of finish is interesting. But you could probably figure it out how people are going to vote before it even gets there. Just look at the preseason rankings. No one's going to deviate from that too often because they don't want to be made fun of.
To me, it's not like the official start of football season. It's the official start of like miserable talking points before football season.
That's kind of how I feel. And then you start tricking your brain. It's like, oh, preseason NFL is almost here. The Hall of Fame game's 3 weeks away. I'm like, that's terrible too. And that just leads to a really long 5 weeks of waiting for the real stuff.
It's just a lot of teasing at this point. Yeah.
We'll dive into it, though. The Open Championship, that was fun. The World Cup final. We had a pretty good run the last month of sports. Now it's kind of done. But we'll dive into it. Stick with us right here on Fan Run Radio. Final for the Open Championship finishing up. Or SEC Media Days. Where do you want to start? We'll get your juices flowing.
Personally, probably the Open, but
Yeah.
I don't know. They're all interchangeable right now to me.
Yeah.
Watched it all.
Yeah, I watched a lot of it. I watched a lot of it all weekend. I did kind of appreciate the early start. It worked out where I still have a sick dog at home. My old lady was out of town all weekend, so I didn't really leave home most of this weekend. So, like, it was kind of nice having something, boom, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., just right there going. Yesterday, same old story, I feel like, that has been at every major, except I guess maybe Augusta and the Masters, but where you'll have a couple big names flirting at the top of the leaderboard, but no one able to grab the proverbial bull by the horns. My takeaway from this Open Championship, and I know it's not really a hot take, I know it's a talking point always with this guy, but shame on Tommy Fleetwood. I feel like this guy's a loser. It happened both Saturday and Sunday. The very moment it looked like he was about to take over the tournament, he immediately fell apart. Both times. On Saturday, he surges. Couple shots off the lead, the crowd's going crazy. He's 3 under on the day and then hits the brakes. Couldn't birdie either of the par fives, gives 2 shots back with bogeys, finishes at -1, 5 shots off the lead, looks pretty dead. Then yesterday it felt like, okay, Sam Burns is vulnerable. And that's another guy we might have to have some conversations about. I'll give him a couple years of grace, but like he's got the choking thing in him too, a little bit. But then on Sunday, he looks vulnerable. Fleetwood's 3 under through 8, and then immediately responds by going bogey, bogey, bogey.
Yeah, that was brutal to see there. I mean, I had Tommy winning it outright from the start of the week. I thought that was easily his best chance to go win a major, just coming back home, hometown, home course type of stuff. And yeah, I mean, just absolutely gags all over himself whenever he gets momentum at any point. And then just insult to injury too, going 2 under in those final 2 holes there to kind of salvage it back into Tommy form of like, all right, top 5 in a major. There we go.
Yeah, I mean, like he gets to make a bunch of money. Good for him, $827,000. He gets to feel like he played a good round. And look, finishing top 5 in a major isn't anything to take for granted. I understand that, but yeah, like it was on the table to go win.
It was on the table to go win for a lot of guys.
Yep.
And I know that it's not as fun having like a no-name guy win it, but I did find that finish like really, really fun just because Ryan Fox played unbelievable down the stretch on such a tough stretch of holes. And I hate it for Cam Young because, I mean, he just goes out there and lights it on fire on Sunday and then has to wait around for like 2.5 hours just for the guy to hit the putt, to win it on 18.
No, I mean, that was brutal. That was, it was a good sports moment to, have him to get to see the heartbreak. You got to see both the jubilation and the heartbreak pretty much at the same time. But no, make no mistake. Me saying Tommy Fleetwood failed to go get it is not me saying that Ryan Fox didn't go get it, because Ryan Fox did go get it. Scheffler, another round where he has a chance, 3 under through his first 5 holes, has a chance to go do it himself and then kind of hits the brakes. But no, Fox was electric, over the final 6 holes, going out and shooting 3 under with 4 birdies, including, the one of, if not the toughest hole of the tournament. 18 was brutal the entire week. I think leading into that final stretch, they said only 2 birdies the entire, round 4. And he goes out and hits 2 perfect shots. And then, kind of funny the way he just immediately lined up and shot his putt.
I love how fast he plays.
Yeah, they timed him at 22 seconds. Just said it. And then afterwards, he's like, yeah, everything was shaking. He's like, I didn't feel nothing. He's like, I was just shaking all over. And, I like winners like that. So I like winners that come from out of nowhere. I don't need the big names. I just thought Tommy, to me, was the story of him just kind of continuing to be a career choker. No, I don't know much about Ryan Fox, coming into this tournament. I know that he didn't start playing professional golf until
25.
Yeah, until he was an adult. He didn't get into golf at all until he was 18. So, like, I appreciate those type of storylines, and I appreciate guys that rise to the occasion, and he 100% rose to the occasion. It was historic. He had the largest 36-hole comeback in major history. He was tied for 52nd after Friday.
Apparently his dad is like an absolute legend in New Zealand for rugby.
Nice. I mean, he's a big old boy. Like,
Yeah.
you could see that Fox, he's putting on for the hefty fellas. I appreciated that. Just the thick boys out there getting it done. And, yeah, it looks like he probably should have played rugby. His dad was probably wondering why he didn't pursue rugby. But then he, puts it all together just on one beautiful weekend, cashes out $3.2 million, and I would say now he feels vindicated in all of his decisions. But like I said, the lowest 36-hole comeback, the second lowest 36-hole total score for a men's major all time. He went out and he grabbed it. He grabbed it 100%. It did make me appreciate Tiger Woods more. Not even from the Scotty Scheffler standpoint of like Scotty, being really good all season, but just not really winning. Not that, although that makes me appreciate Tiger Woods more. But just the Tiger's ability to close a lead going into the last round. As a younger kid, as a teenager, I didn't really appreciate that as much. I was like, oh, of course he's going to win. He's in the lead. But like watching Sam Burns immediately come out and give it up.
We saw like 5 different guys have a chance to go win that tournament on Sunday and just absolutely choke it.
Yeah, Siwoo Kim ought to be ashamed. But I mean, like, he called it what it was afterwards.
Did you see his Instagram?
Yeah, he's like, another Sunday, another choke. He's like, good tournament, top 10 finish, but another choke. Completely gagged.
I took a live flyer on him.
I did too, Bubba. I did too. It was like I cursed him. It wasn't meant to be my weekend. I took a live flyer on Tommy. I think after the 5th hole, after he birdied the 5th hole, I think I took him to win without Burns at like 7-1. I was like, okay, let's ride this. Hell, it might have been after the 8th hole. Truth be told, he immediately went bogey, bogey, bogey.
I needed them to just offer 17-hole bets. Like
18th hole kicked my ass all week.
18th hole lost me 4 different bets all week.
You didn't think it was funny then, huh? You laughed at me when Colin Morikawa did it on Friday. Who got the last laugh?
I had like a 18-1 parlay that was, a couple top 20s, a couple top 10s, a couple top 5s, and I needed Shane Lowry to get top 20, and he bogeyed 18 to finish one shot outside of top 20.
Yep. You weren't laughing then, were you? It was that way for me all weekend. Like Saturday, I had Bryson to shoot 2 under in his round, and then he bogeys 18 after playing to the crowd. That made me so damn mad.
Have you started to flip sides on him?
No, I think this weekend.
I liked Shumpert's tweet a lot, where it was the Rory McIlroy comments on Bryson DeChambeau, and it was like, the worst guy makes a good point.
See, I don't know if I agree with Rory's point or not. Like, is Bryson performative? Yeah, sure. So I guess, I do agree with what he was saying, but I don't like Rory McIlroy either. And that got solidified this weekend. And I made a tweet. I tweeted about how I don't understand how anybody likes him. And I did not realize Rory was such a hot topic, a hot button issue. And it's almost like political.
People love him. If you love him, people love him.
See, I disagree. Well, I mean, I don't disagree with that. I know people love him, but like, there was a lot more people like in my mentions that all had like the faceless Avies that were like hating him, and it's almost like they hate him in favor of DeChambeau, but like they're doing that because of like DeChambeau's relationship with Trump. It's like a lot of people like consider like Rory this big left like loser, this big leftist loser. But some people are like, we like him because he's not a MAGA bootlicker. And I was like, well, there's plenty of articles about how he loves Donald Trump. Like, there's.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure both of those guys play golf with Trump a decent bit.
Yeah, I was like, so I don't. And then they never respond to that. I'm like, I'm pretty sure Rory is a right guy. But it's just very strange. Like, it's basically PGA. There's also some PGA versus Live guys in there. It's very strange. Like
I think the correct take from the weekend is that they're just both losers.
Yeah, no, I think that's I'm fine with being there. Like, there's be some people that would just compare the two. It's like, it's not an either or thing. I was like, I had tweeted that I typically do like Bryson. So people were like, if you're a Bryson fan, so of course you feel this way. I was like, I don't think it has to do with the other. Like Rory's just a complainer, and him getting there crying about Bryson on Friday was lame. And then him afterwards yesterday complaining about the greens and talking about how he's not going to play all 15 events that he's supposed to play. Basically trying to challenge the tour to revoke his membership or his status or whatever you'd call it.
Those comments about Bryson would have meant so much more if it was coming from literally any other player in the field besides Rory.
And it didn't feel, and maybe that was a U.S., it did feel like the American players like Bryson a little bit more, just maybe because of the Ryder Cup stuff, or maybe they know him better. I don't know, but it did feel like every American came out and tried to show some grace. Every American tried to come out and be like, Bryson's not a cheater. There's a couple guys, including, Scotty, who came out and defiantly said that. It was like, hey, Bryson might be a lot of things. He's not a cheater. Now, the video did kind of look like he was intentionally stopping the grass down, but at the same time, I've walked through hay. I've walked through tall grass. That's kind of how you walk. You do kind of have to high step it. You can't really drag your feet. And I don't like and really this probably is the biggest talking point coming out of the whole entire tournament. I don't really like the idea of being able to sit at home and turn people in.
Yeah.
Especially like when you put
turned into the RNA, basically, like they didn't exactly find it themselves.
Right. Especially when you put gambling on top of it. And then there's the whole concept of like these golfers who aren't on TV, every shot can get away with a lot more. And then you go back and find, Dustin Johnson from 2019. You find Wyndham Clark from the U.S. Open.
That one 100% should have been called.
Well, I remember them talking about it during the broadcast.
Yeah.
Because I had bet on Burns, I'm pretty sure. So I was like, I wanted them to call it.
Ricky Fowler, I think.
Okay. Okay.
Him and Ricky. Are you saying it was from this year?
The Wyndham Clark thing happened again this year, yeah.
Oh, I thought it was – there was like a huge controversy when he won the U.S. Open at the L.A. Country Club or whatever.
But I want to say there was another instance this year where the one where he was chipping out of the rough and had like got caught kind of moving stuff. Multiple times, I feel like it had happened with Clark. But either way, I don't like being able to sit at home and send a video in and have that. So, like, I did kind of feel for Bryson. But not only the Ryder Cup stuff aside, I don't need Rory, who's been the face of PGA and a.k.a. anti-live, furthering his vendetta against Bryson. I don't think he would have went as hard if it was Scotty Scheffler. And to me, that makes Rory a hypocrite. Like, I think if it was Scotty Scheffler or Shane Lowry or somebody he likes, I don't think he'd be out there giving those quotes about, I was clearly cheating. Me and my mates were watching and all kind of looked at each other. Sure you did, buddy. Sure you did. I don't like Rory, though. I fully decided that. I'm not a Rory guy. And that doesn't mean I'm pro Bryson because, Bryson didn't necessarily cover himself in glory this weekend, but
he had such a good chance to like actually get back in decent standing with people that do hate him in terms of just like, hey, you get your penalty. There's plenty of instances in golf where someone's been assessed a penalty where they obviously don't think it was intentional. That's just how the game of golf works sometimes. If he just shut up and said, you know what, yeah, I don't disagree. I don't agree with the ruling, but we're just going to, get back to it, and we're going to play the weekend and go try and win this tournament. And if he went out and put a couple good rounds together, I think he would have improved his standing for a lot of golf fans that don't really like him. And instead, he just made it performative, doing another little dance on 18 again and just kind of
bogeying.
Yeah, not really doing anything in the weekend.
Yeah.
Just kind of taking his ball and going home.
At least he didn't actually go home. He did threaten it. I kind of thought he might, but then
I was hoping he would so bad.
Yeah, he's not going to turn down the payday. He's not going to do that. But it would have been kind of funny had he done that. It would have been a good look, but there is a part of me that would have laughed about it and thought, that's kind of funny. Then the story came out. Was it true that I saw some reporters? I don't know who's
he tried to call Trump.
Yeah, I don't know who's reputable or not in golf, but like, is it true that like he actually was like threatening to call Donald Trump?
I think it was.
Trying to get like Trump to make a ruling on his 2-stroke penalty, because that was another headline. You're just like groan. You're like, oh my god.
I mean, the reports, the tweet that I saw comes from a guy that is pretty. He's a Sirius XM golf contributor. Okay. He's got 68,000 followers on Twitter.
Well, I don't ever know who's who.
Yeah,
like if Sham says something in the NBA or Schefter or Rappaport says something in the NFL, I know that those guys are legit. I know a handful of other like local guys that are legit in each city, but like golf, I didn't really know. I just decided to not even investigate because I didn't want to know. I just decided to keep it moving. Bubba, do you have any thoughts on the Open?
I ended up taking a pretty good golf nap,
Nice.
and I missed the ending of it. So
I mean, it was electric. It was electric. Having a guy, in the final group have a chance to go and snatch it and going out and getting a birdie, that is about as good as it gets. The last shot of the entire tournament being a winning putt.
And then I think it sparked some insight from Sean Strickland as well.
I don't really care anything about what Sean Strickland says.
He puts it towards the bottom of the most masculine sports.
Okay.
Just above swimming.
Okay. I mean, there's nothing inherently masculine about golf, I guess. So, I mean, he's got a fair point.
It's like there's a lot of masculine about it. Cigars, a couple mixed beverages, hitting on women.
Yeah, women can do all those same things, though. Now, like, it's kind of masculine. Somebody lines up and drills one 375 or something, but like the longest hitters don't always win. So you can't necessarily be physically imposing. Cam Young probably not sleeping good after bogey in 18. Just completely misplaying that hole.
I feel like his caddy screwed him there. That second shot.
Was that the caddy's idea?
I don't know.
Okay.
I would have, like, if I was the caddy, I feel like I'd be talking him into being like, hey, there's no need to go for this.
Yeah.
Like, let's just go try and take our medicine and go make a par as best we can.
Yeah, like getting a 10, or he was already at 10, staying at 10. I think I would have rolled the dice there, but that's obviously with the benefit of hindsight. But the majors are over in golf. That was electric yesterday. We'll get some SEC Media Days coming up next. Stick with us right here on Fan Run Radio.
Check out exclusive Fan Run
other big sports moments where all of our cliches and all of our generalities kind of play out. Choking, rising to the occasion, pressure. Hell, even in the World Cup, we had the whole defense wins championship thing. That came to fruition as Spain just completely choked everyone out during the entire tournament. Argentina not even getting a damn shot on goal the entire game, just being completely lifeless. I like when that stuff happens. I also like when everybody can come together and complain about stuff. And it did feel like golf's coverage all weekend was pretty bad. I thought it was a very bad performance by NBC, by the people on board. Feels like Mike Tirico should have been a bigger part of their coverage.
He's been like behind the scenes in a lot of the golf. Like if you've seen some of those videos, he's just been like behind the camera. It seems like doing a lot of like directing or producing.
Yeah, and he had talked about how he had kind of caught the Bryson stuff as he was like on the course just doing like behind the scenes stuff like you're talking about. Seems like he should be on the mic. I thought that was part of the reason that they gave Mike Tirico big money at NBC was for stuff like his golf coverage.
Maybe he's just had a long year.
Yeah, he might have just been fed up with it. But it just felt like, is it Kevin Kisner, is that his name?
Yeah.
That guy comes out of the weekend looking like a jackass. I can't be too hard on him for being a jackass. But like it did seem kind of crazy that he's on this big like international broadcast. And in the meantime, like during commercial breaks, arguing with people online. I've been there, guilty of it in terms of like arguing with people online during the radio show. But I'm not on a national broadcast. Yeah, we're talking to a couple thousand people every day, 10, 15, 20, hell, I don't know the number. But like we're on a much smaller scale than like, hey, covering the final major, and he's got time to just get out there and tweet up a storm.
I just feel like golf coverage as a whole is terrible. Like no matter what.
It does feel like that's probably the
no matter
truth.
What channel you get it on, I just think it's terrible.
Yeah. It feels like the only thing people actually like is like the Masters app.
Yeah.
And like the expanded Masters coverage.
And even now that's starting to get, more and more commercialized with it. It was on Prime Video to start off this year and
money.
Yep.
Money. We'll see how the SEC tries to cash in on some money today, and we'll see how they cover it as everybody will descend upon Tampa for SEC Media Days. Josh Heupel set to go last in the afternoon. Like I said, 2:55 is when he'll take the main stage. Apparently supposed to be on Feinbaum at 4:40. Will Stein and Elia Drinkwitz taking the stage, taking the podium in the morning session, and then Brent Venables, Josh Heupel doing it in the afternoon. We'll, of course, talk about that throughout the show. Bubba, any interest in hearing from Deshaun Bishop? Big, bad Deshaun Bishop. Is there anything he can really say that you're interested in this during this time?
Unless it's the amount of weight he's just throwing up in the weight room.
That has aged well. I don't know if you guys remember, we kind of made fun of the person who said they saw him at church and that he had gotten huge. You remember that from a couple months ago?
Yeah.
Turns out that person was spot on.
Absolutely.
They were 100% right. Deshaun Bishop has gotten huge.
I feel like he has been this big, though, since last year.
He's always been pretty cut.
I feel like he's a big boy, but I do feel like he's put on noticeable like girth.
Put on some.
Yeah.
He's added girth under Derek Owings.
Yeah,
Put that on a graphic, please, William. Added girth under Derek Owings.
Girthy boy. Like, just that should be the caption. Girthy boy. I mean, you're right, obviously. Like, he's an SEC running back. It's not like he's been small, but like.
He does just kind of look like a muscle hamster now.
Yeah, like he's taken the next step in his evolution.
But, no, I mean, Josh Heupel's going to have these boys just like well kempt, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like, with the Bishop, he'll probably talk about the bonding of, the team and, possible, like, some aspect with Faith being, motivations for football, how fired up he is for the season, how we could be underdogs. Um, when it comes to T-Lander, we're like, yeah, we're just happy to get a chance to go out there. People are going to be sleeping on the defense. We're going to be coming in. Hype was going to say, we're ready for a year or two. That's going to be about it.
And then Aaron Carter down there.
He's just going to look cool.
Yeah, he's just going to look cool. Talk about, talking about his injury, talking about coming back to school.
Yeah.
How much it means to play one more year at Tennessee.
Leading the guys under a new coordinator and how great
I'd be cool if any of these guys snuck in an NIL sponsorship, though. Like, yeah, I feel great things to, insert local family Madison place where they really kiss my knee up here.
Deshaun Bishop was the Weigels guy last year, right? Or at least no, all the running backs were.
All the running backs were, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it should just be Bishop this year. When I need to recover, I love getting me some Weigels milk.
Does someone dare ask a DGG question at SEC Media Days to Tennessee players or a coach?
Say that one more time.
Does someone dare to ask a DGG question?
I'm going to say probably not. Although if they ask, maybe they just don't answer. I can't imagine that being a big talking point.
I mean, they're going to ask about Faison and McIntyre. So what do you think his response is going to be?
I think he's going to say that there's just a competition. I think Josh Heupel, when asked about the quarterbacks, is going to say, hey, both guys are going to compete. We like both guys. We feel comfortable with both guys. He'll probably acknowledge that they want to name a starter, before their dress rehearsal week, 2 weeks before the season. I'd imagine he'll say, like, hey, we want to have a starter in place by then. We're going to let both guys compete. They both did compete. They both bring something to the table. We like both of them. We're excited for both of them. Both are going to have to be ready to play. That to me feels pretty simple. We'll talk more about SEC Media Days throughout the show. I would be interested in, like, Deshaun Bishop, like, openly talking about DGG if asked. Because it does feel like everyone, like Ohio State guys, everybody's been like, hey, of course you can go there and start. When there's like a non-zero chance that, like, Deshaun Bishop is right on the doorstep of breaking the all-time Tennessee rushing record.
Is he really?
He's only like 1,500 yards away.
Right.
So, I mean, if you say that he probably has 1,200, 1,300 yards this year, I don't think it would be like necessarily a slam dunk that, like, he would be like testing off the charts for, like, the NFL. But also, like, Deshaun Bishop's a pretty good SEC back. And, like, if he takes a step forward, he could be a really damn good SEC back this year. So, like, I do find it to be a little bit disrespectful, the conversation surrounding him. Do I think DGG would come in and start immediately? I'd say it's probably been what Tennessee's been telling him, and I'd say that's probably the case. But, like, I wonder how Deshaun Bishop truly feels about that. Something to keep an eye on. Maybe he'll talk about it. I know he said we're only 2 plays away from making the playoffs last year, which I don't know if I fully agree with, but at least one against Georgia, you say, hey, just make the kick. I don't know if either of the loss to Oklahoma or Alabama or Vanderbilt was 1 or 2 plays away, though. Maybe
if Miles Kitselman went under the Deshaun Bishop weight regiment, then he could have been able to tackle random D linemen from Oklahoma who ran 70 yards away from him.
You know what? To be fair to Deshaun Bishop, maybe I would like to see the way that game played out. Just had David Sanders and Joey Aguilar been on the same page, and you don't give up the strip sack. Maybe if you score there and go up 2 scores inside that raucous environment, maybe that would have been a completely different game. Maybe Deshaun Bishop's right there. Hour 1 of the books. We'll kick off hour 2 with some headlines. Stick with us.
The flag
The White Claw Hard Seltzer Studios. Drink the lights, refreshing White Claw Hard Seltzer. Drink it responsibly. Great job by William on the graphic to have that boom White Claw right there in the bottom left. Looking great, looking sharp. If you're listening on the app or on the radio, go watch us on YouTube. Hang out with us. Get in the comments. Help interact with the show. All right, let's hit some headlines. Bubba, I'm going to give you one more week to figure this out. One more week to become a newsman.
I don't like the implications there. Well, John, because I'm going to condemn everything. Your Atlanta Hawks were involved in a trade with Zachary Rizache, Lou Dort, not going to Atlanta though, and some other names that I just don't care about.
Lou Dort is going to Atlanta.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I lied.
Okay, bad start to your make or break week of headlines.
We've already broken it. It's all right.
Zachary Rizache on the move. He goes to Dallas. Oklahoma City is just purely cutting cost here. And you could argue like opening up some minutes for some of their better guys, their younger guys, which I do think is a fair point. Like Lou Dort is a good player, but I don't think he is as dynamic as some of the young guys they have on that roster already. Like all the Lou Dort minutes going to AJ Mitchell is a good thing. AJ Mitchell and Cason Wallace getting more minutes is a good thing. The Hawks had the number 1 pick in the 2024 draft. It is going to go down as one of the worst drafts in recent memory, and it'll be headlined by one of the worst first-round picks of the millennium. Like, so far, and it's just been 2 years, and I'm not giving up on his chances of becoming a solid NBA player, but I think it's safe to say that he's not going to live up to number 1 overall billing. So far, he's been the 3rd worst number 1 overall pick of the millennium. He's ahead of only Anthony Bennett. Who got drafted to the Cleveland Cavs back in...
Was that 2013, 2014?
That's exactly what I was about to ask, Bubba. I can't remember if it was 13 or 14.
I remember him being a part of like the All-Star Showcase in 2K.
Yeah. I would say 13.
Was he out of like, not USC?
He was at UNLV.
UNLV, yeah, that's right.
I would say it was 13. That was one of the worst drafts too. I mean, like, really, Bradley Beal. I don't know. Bradley Beal wasn't in that draft. No, this was like Oladipo. Oladipo was okay, I guess. CJ McCollum at 10 has been pretty good. But yeah, terrible draft. Giannis, the clear-cut best player of that draft, but he didn't go until number 15.
Otto Porter Jr.
Yeah, looking through this 2024 draft class, this whole first round just sucks.
Yeah, I mean, like
maybe 5 players.
Stephon Castle is probably going to be a good player. Donovan Clingan, I think, is maybe going to be a good player. Jared McCain, is going to be like a rotation guy. Outside of that, yeah, like I don't know if I have much confidence in any of those guys. Terrible draft. So like I don't think the Hawks like clearly missed on like a generational guy taking Rizache number 1, but it just kind of sucked that that's the year we had to cash in.
Bronny James is looking like one of the best picks of this draft.
It's funny how that works out. But, the Hawks pull the plug on that. The whole sunken cost fallacy. You don't want to keep compounding problems and forcing him into minutes when he doesn't deserve them, and it just makes your team worse. He was bad last year. The Hawks took off once they benched him and kind of gave up on him. Now the Thunder, on the other hand, they save a whole bunch of money. Which I don't know if that's something you want to celebrate if you are an NBA team. if you're a fan base. I don't know if we want to build a model that just celebrates, hey, look at the owner. He saved $100 million. Just, I think it was $83 million or something in that ballpark just from making this move in luxury tax penalties. No team will be paying the second apron for the first time ever. So like it has kind of turned into just a hard salary cap, which I don't know if that was the intention. But the Thunder save some money, but also I think open up some minutes for better guys. As far as the Hawks go on the courts, this excites me. You were a top 10 defense last year. Now you should catapult into the top 5. Dyson Daniels, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and Lou Dort's a pretty good three-headed monster there out on the perimeter.
Better hope you get Anthony Edwards next year.
Well, that there was something
throwing up brick houses on offense though with these guys.
Well, there was something to that too, though, Sam. This is a financial move where Lou Dort's on an expiring contract. The Hawks were not if you want to get too bogged down in the minutia. They were like 10 days away from having to make a decision on whether or not they were picking up Reece Shawshe's team option next year, and that was going to be $17 million. So like you don't have to worry about paying him an extension. You don't have to worry about him being disgruntled. You just bring in Lou Dort, who's on an expiring contract, and gives you some flexibility and some room to package some guys if Anthony Edwards happens to get unhappy in like January. Lou Dort, though, you say that about building brick houses. Lou Dort last year went back down to 34.5%, but like the 2 years prior was 41 and 39% from three. So I mean, he's not a terrible shooter, but all those are wide open. So, I mean, he's not like a great shooter by any means. Bubba, headline number 2, please.
Some quick NFL things. One, the Titans are going to induct former running back Chris Johnson into the franchise's Ring of Honor during halftime of their season opener against the Jets.
Feels like a no-brainer to me. I feel like I've been saying that since the diagnosis got announced. We just hope that he makes it. If not, it's going to be kind of a bittersweet memorial, but it'd still be powerful, to put up and bring out his family.
It is, not to say convenient, but also like the fact that he also did play for the Jets too.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a reason why.
No, I don't think it has anything to do with it. I think it's his first game. You're just trying to get out there as soon as possible. I don't think they're trying to honor his. I don't think they're trying to honor his Jets legacy at all. I don't think that's the case. I just think it's the first home game, and you're on borrowed time. When it comes to having him honored in person. So, if the Jets were like week 4, I don't think they would have waited till week 4. I think they would have done.
Well, yeah, but
I think they would have done game 1 regardless.
It definitely helps that we're opening at home.
Yeah, no, for sure. And like I said, I hope he makes it that long.
The NFL suspended Cardinals director of college scouting Ryan Gold indefinitely for violating the league's gambling policy. Apparently, the league found that the Gold shared confidential information about Arizona's 2026 draft selections and participated in parlay bets on NFL and college football games. Said he's been with the team, and he is appealing this decision.
Any idea on how long the appeal is going to take? Nah, probably not. Did you see this story coming out of Arkansas this morning?
He's blaming it on his wife, which is really funny.
I'd be careful with that.
$10 weekly bets with a group of high school friends and parlays that he says was not involved.
Him throwing it away for $10 bets is crazy.
He's just throwing his marriage under the bus too.
Yeah.
No, this is my wife. My wife is so intrigued by draft prospects. I've been giving her $10 parlays to bet with her girlfriends while they drink wine.
I don't think that really
Scottsdale Country Club.
I almost feel like that doesn't help. I feel like that might make it worse that you're taking this insider information and giving it to people.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that your wife made these draft picks without like your input, which then means it's like insider trading, and I feel like it becomes like a federal conspiracy. If she talked to anybody and anybody else in your life would all be kind of implicated at that point, although he's cooked either way. But did you see the story coming out of Arkansas this morning where a mayor in Arkansas's brother has been identified as the $1.8 billion winner of a Powerball.
Ooh.
What's shady about that?
Well, I don't know if it's shady. I guess it's not shady. At first, the headlines were coming out saying it was the Arkansas mayor, and I thought it was like a smaller jackpot that maybe was a little bit more susceptible to being some fixed or something. But 1.8 billion, yeah, I don't think they did anything.
I would check for any campaign donations before I look into this. Like anything slightly above like 50K. All right, we're looking at this.
If they're saying it's his brother, I guess it's not as big of a deal. If it was an Arkansas mayor, I was a little confused on just the Arkansas mayor playing the lottery. But if it's his brother, what are you going to do?
Two more quick NFL things. One, Cam Scatabo, botch of the weekend. Kind of felt bad for the guy. As he says,
you felt bad for Cam Scatabo?
He says he's perfectly fine after
Cam Scatabo's a moron.
Botch back because he lifts up. You see the leg, and it's like, that doesn't, ew. And then he does a backflip, but he doesn't land. And you're just like, oh, this guy just trying to come out here confident, and he can't play it off, so he still has to play it off.
It's incredibly stupid.
It's like when a wrestler botches, any of their finishing moves. I get what he's going for.
There's also a clip earlier of John Harbaugh talking about asking Cam Scatabo not to do backflips. Like he was playing like in a charity game or something. He's like, oh, yeah, it's fine. He's like, just don't do any backflips. And then he goes out onto the Fanatics Fest stage, does a backflip, and almost blows it.
Telling Cam Scatabo not to do a backflip is like telling a little 3-year-old child not to do something. Like they just immediately their brain just says, "Oh, I'm going to do that."
It's funny. One of my favorite videos, like video series, or one that I always stop and watch. Maybe it's not my favorite. Is like when parents will like put cookies on the table and tell like a 3-year-old like, "Hey, don't eat this." And then like they leave and keep a camera up, and you just watch the kid sit there trying to think like, am I going to eat this? Am I going to do this, or am I going to wait? Am I going to wait? That's kind of what Cam Scatabo with a crowd around him cheering him on is like.
And then Max Crosby joins the likes of Le'Veon Bell and Melvin Ingram and Antonio Brown for releasing a rap song. Raider Way is available on all platforms.
Isaiah Wilson.
Kind of weird that he did that the Raider way. Did he write this after the trade fell through? Had he already had this ready to go before the trade, then had to shelve it for a couple of months? I'm curious. I've got zero interest in listening to it.
And then Derek Henry also tells a story about Nick Saban and how he treat the boys.
Yeah, Derek Henry. I feel like I'd seen that clip before, but maybe not. But Derek Henry talked about Saban basically blowing up at him, saying he was tired of them thanking God after touchdowns and then smoking Black and Milds and drinking and partying after the games, which just feels like a pretty Nick Saban thing to say. Going back to Cam Scatabo right quick, this Fanatics Fest, how do we feel about it?
It's a cult initiation ritual. Like if you go to the white party, you have to attend this at least once.
The clips of Justin Bieber nailing penalty kicks confused me.
Also, Bronny, great leg on the guy.
Bronny looks like a natural. Like I don't always fully buy into the whole like if America's best athletes all played soccer, we'd be the best in the world. But like I do feel like if you could take a fringe athlete or a fringe NBA player, like Bronny, who's an elite athlete, and just have told him to do something different, he'd probably be better than what he is at basketball. Maybe if we had just told him to train for soccer his entire life, maybe we'd have been onto something at his freak athleticism. He looks like a natural at those with that footwork and kicks. Maybe an all-pro cornerback. Maybe we could have made him a cornerback with his size and athleticism.
I would like to go to Fanatics Fest, though.
You want to be in the Colts?
No, Bubba.
They had a wrestling thing where you could jump from like the top of like the rope per se. You get a little card.
Hell, Bubba, you go to all those
I was going to say
indie shows.
You could find that locally.
Yeah, we got one this week, too.
Offer them $20. They'll let you do it.
Just get there early and be like, hey, I just want to jump off the top.
No, you want to stay late. You don't want to be there early. You want to stay late. Before they take it down, you just get up there and do it. I've gotten in the ring before at one of those.
Bubba's just diving into a pool of sweat from random
there is that.
East Tennessee rednecks.
There is that. Roman Reigns shooting threes. If I was him, I wouldn't have done it. Cody Rhodes getting outpunched on the boxing, the test, like the thing they have, like where you can test your strength at your punch. Cody Rhodes getting outpunched by Justin Bieber was not a good look. I know wrestling's not real, but like
Justin Bieber's probably been in more scraps.
Huh? Justin Bieber?
Out on the streets.
I don't feel like Justin Bieber's gotten in many fights.
It's not clocking to you, John.
He did have that little bit of a wild stage, but I just don't remember him getting any scraps. I remember him arguing neighbors and stuff, but for going too fast, but not actually getting in fist fights. I feel like if you're in wrestling though, and you're Cody Rhodes, you either got to do what John Cena did, which is do the fake headbutt, or you got to make sure that you have
a work punch,
or you do something fake, but you can't go out there and throw a punch and then be out punched by Justin Bieber, who also has a pretty nice jump shot. Justin Bieber's a pretty good athlete.
What about Tom Brady making an ass of himself?
Tom Brady is a rough weekend for him. There's part of me
what
that
happens when you get in bed with Michael Rubin. He strips you of every good accomplishment you've ever had in your life, and all you known as is just Fanatics boy flipping off Logan Paul at a World Cup game.
Well, they're
also getting smacked.
Anything
smacking.
involved the Paul brothers, I don't believe.
Also smacking Logan Paul, like getting involved in like a weird sort of kind of work with like WWE. Is Tom Brady trying to get into a WWE ring and like at least be a part of WrestleMania next year or something?
He's been talking with Gronk too much, who got the host. So Tom Brady wants to host.
Although there is part of me that finds this a little endearing about Tom Brady, is that he did have two different personalities the entire time. Because you remember, like when Bill Belichick first got out of coaching, was on TV, everyone's like, "Wow, this guy actually has a good personality." Tom Brady was also the equivalent of Bill Belichick while he played, in terms of just super serious, do your job, no personality. The first time we saw Tom Brady have any personality at all was when he was drunk on that boat celebrating Tampa's Super Bowl. And everyone's like, "Oh my God, Tom Brady's a normal person." And I do find some of it cringy, but at the same time, I'm like, hey, you dominated your profession. You should be allowed to have fun, whatever you consider to be fun. You don't have to be super serious. Hey, I'm the GOAT. I got to be buttoned up. If I want to go and do a roast, it's a little weird, but it's probably fun for Tom Brady.
Did we find him normal just because his wife cheated on him? And like, that's like a very like normal person thing to happen to someone of that stature?
No, I feel like that hurt him.
This guy's just like us.
Nah,
I feel cheated on just like Tom Brady can.
I feel like Giselle cheating on him was bad for his PR because she was not gracious about the cheating. Like on Father's Day, she posts the stepdad and talks about how great he is. Like, she hasn't been like taking the high road with Brady, but like I think it was the opposite. Her cheating on him did not make me think he was a regular person. I felt like she cheated on him because he cared so much more about football than he did his family. And that's kind of what she said, was like, we were ready for Tom to be home, but he like would decide he was going to run off to Tampa for a couple more years. And I got sick of it, and I was ready to just be, loved again and be in a relationship with somebody who loved me. So yeah, I had sex with my jiu-jitsu instructor, and now we're together, and that's the love of my life. To me, it was just being drunk on the boat. I was like, oh yeah, I've been drunk on a boat. Hell yeah. Good for Tom Brady. That sea drunk hits different, doesn't it, Brady? Ha ha ha. He almost dropped the Lombardi trophy. But then he's like, now he's doing like the Undertaker coming out of the casket for 28-3. Like, brother, like, don't reduce your entire career just to endless 28-3 jokes. Anything else, Bubba?
In the weird MAGA sport of RAF, like the real American like wrestling or whatever it is, Colby Covington, former Patriot who got his heart broken over not being on the White House UFC card, so he turned his whole tune around, beat Arman Tsarukyan, and this also included the first little step back for Ben Askren, who almost died from a pretty bad illness. So
okay,
cool to see that in terms of MMA. Also, Kamaru Usman returned and got embarrassed by Dricus du Plessis.
Good batch of headlines after a pretty rough start, Bubba. I'll give you a passing grade. One more thing. Taylor Farms, did you see them have to come out and make a statement?
No.
Can Taylor Farms sue? I don't know, but they put out a statement because they were linked to the poop explosions. they were linked to that. So they came out and basically said, hey, Taylor Farms is responsible for this. But last night, they put out a statement. Bad idea by them and their PR team to do it at 10:55 on a Sunday night. But they put out a statement saying that the FDA apologized to them, saying that yesterday the FDA informed us, made a mistake, and this was a false positive. And basically said, up until this moment, the FDA has not identified a single positive product test for cyclospora, whatever.
Cyclopsoriasis.
But for eternity, we will now think of Taylor Farms as being a part of this outbreak. But they're saying, hey, the FDA said that's not the case.
It breaks my heart because I was a big supporter of their maple bacon vinaigrette.
Well, it's bad for business because, like, you'll always, if even a month from now, you go to the grocery store and you see 2 bags of lettuce there, you're probably going to pick the other one. That could be catastrophic for them. But now they're saying the FDA said it was a false positive. It's kind of like when, a news story, when an arrest happens and you get the salacious headline, but then the person wins in court or has the charges rightfully dismissed. We don't ever really hear those apologies. We just hear the initial arrests.
I think Taylor Farms has to lean into this one and create like really mean almost like political advertisements, like where you're going against whoever you're running. You're making an ad against someone that you're running against.
Right.
They've got to just go out and make ads against other lettuce companies.
I think they go out against the FDA. They just say they were persecuted.
Dole was on the clock.
Although I got to say, I got a bag of this at home. We had a bag of this last week, and I told you about that. We had a bag of the Taylor Farms lettuce in the fridge. I don't know if it would have made me sick or not, but it was in there.
Out because of this?
Say that again?
Did you throw it out because of this?
I'm not going to eat it. It's still sitting there. I haven't cleaned out the fridge. But luckily, it was only a small bag, and we needed a bigger bag.
Hey,
so
positive, though. This could cause some stores to lower down the
cost of lettuce.
Yeah. Make it instead of, $4 for a bag of lettuce, make it go down to $2.50. And then we'll talk.
Sam,
send us a break. Let's talk sports on Fan Run Radio. SEC Media Days set to come back to Nashville in 2027. Greg Sankey addressing the media. Bubba, see if you can find any interesting quotes from him outside of you're on quote patrol all day during our show. If you see anything come across the timeline that seems to be noteworthy in college football coming out over the last 15 minutes or so, Ward Manuel not getting fired at Michigan, but is going to step down at the end of the calendar year. So not getting fired, not furthering into the Michigan was a dirty program. Michigan had a whole bunch of improper stuff going on. They claimed their investigation did not yield any of that. But Ward Manuel stepping down at the end of the calendar year.
Just looks like a movie character, kind of. He looks like a fake athletic director.
He really does. He does look like an actor that would be playing an athletic director in a movie. Another thing coming out of college football over the last 30 minutes or so, Ross Dellinger has a Yahoo report about the adjusted Protect College Sports Act. What do you make of this proposal, Sam, that conference membership will be capped at 19 schools? You can't go past 19 schools. And if you do move from one power league to another, you must be an independent for 5 years.
Oh. That seems like a lot. I know that we've always had the conversation of like, is there a way to squeeze, Clemson or Florida State into the SEC or something like that? And, I think those schools themselves have been kind of on record wanting to kind of get out of the ACC, just knowing that it's not really a conference. It's in great standing in any sport right now. And I think that would immediately probably detract me if I was one of those schools saying, hey, I got to go spend 5 years as an independent. That's like over an entire recruiting cycle type of thing. And I don't know. I don't know if the juice would be worth the squeeze there in terms of like trying to leave a conference to find greener grass, but you got to wait 5 years to see if that grass even grows.
Well, that's probably part of the reason. They probably don't want any more realignment. They probably don't want teams moving. I don't think we're going to get to where anybody ever leaves the Big Ten or SEC voluntarily, which would be ideal, is if you had a couple of teams just leave and we got, hey, the Big 12 gets Oklahoma and Texas back and, just kind of go back to the way things were. No one's going to do that. Mississippi State ain't going to pack up and go to the Big 12. If you're in the Big 10, getting that big check, you ain't going nowhere either. So really this is just trying to freeze what's left of the Big 12 and what's left of the ACC and say, hey, you can leave, but you're going to wander for 5 years through a desert.
This just seems like it's either, we're sticking with the same conferences we've got, or the only other option is like the, floated out idea of that proposed super conference and, like getting away from the NCAA and all that stuff and just kind of becoming your own entity.
I do wonder if you left for 5 years, if you would like enjoy the independent life and just be like, you know what? I'm just going to actually hang out here. I don't want to go to the SEC. I'm good. I just want to be an independent. This has been fun. Notre Dame kind of has it figured out. They probably wouldn't get the same treatment that Notre Dame gets in the playoff conversation where it's like, hey, if you're ranked in the top 12, you're automatically in. Because that'd be great as an independent. Like, we get to do our own schedule, and if we're in the top 12, we get to be in the quest for the playoff or quest for a championship in the playoff. That would be ideal.
That's still such BS.
It really is. It really, truly is, Bubba. But, hey, credit to them for leverage, Leverage. It's kind of what Roy McIlroy is trying to do to the PGA, where he's like, I'm not going to do the 15 events. What are you going to do? Kick me out? I'm Roy McIlroy.
I'm also going to play exclusively at one place leading up to the event.
I will say if you like do your whole new identity that you're only going to play the majors, you need to finish better than he finished in the other 3. But if you're Rory, you'd probably say winning the Masters makes it a successful year for him. Right? Like he overall judges 2026 as a success, right? Just from winning the Masters alone.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Now the rest of the majors, he didn't really do much in at all.
If you want to just be like a Rory hater, you could be like win something other than the Masters, buddy.
Well, you could, but I feel like that'd be pretty dumb. Because it is like the tournament everyone cares the most about. And, he might come back around and win one of the playoff things. But I do feel like just looking at the 4 majors, yeah, you won the Masters, that's good, but the other 3 you kind of sucked in. Or at least by your standards, kind of sucked in. Got to win those. But I wouldn't tell some other team like, you only won the Super Bowl. You didn't win your division. You only won the Super Bowl. If you're an actual good team, you'd win your division. You were just a wild card. Nah, I'd say you accomplished your goal. We'll skim to see if there's anything interesting from the Ward Manual Michigan thing. It's going to be hard to kind of do while on the air. We got a whole bunch of college football news coming at us fast and furious right now. Word to Vin Diesel. Once I see Brett McMurphy start popping up on my timeline, I know it's getting a little serious. Brett McMurphy, Pete Thamel back-to-back. Josh Pate popping up. Cousin Shane, those guys dominate the timeline. College football is going to have a moment here.
I think we should do like halftime shows, but for SEC Media Days, we should do like a concert.
Don't give them ideas.
That'd be a good way to get some more eyes onto it.
Jelly Roll gets to perform. Yeah, come on now.
Don't give them ideas. Like they will consider it, at least like on the SEC Network. Like, hey, here's
What's
so and so
doing.
Here's Riley Green with his guitar.
I don't Shakira after the World
I'm
Cup.
not as stank as you drunk I am.
I don't think they'd be able to get Shakira there, but maybe. I did appreciate one guy tweeting out 2 screenshots, and at one point it was like his dad saying, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah.
He's like, and then Shakira came. I was like, "This is more like it." I did appreciate that.
I think she's got to be up there in terms of like the longevity conversations with LeBron.
She's Mariah Carey.
She's Mariah Carey?
Yeah.
Well, you cut him off. I think Sam was looking more for the attractive level, not her musical career.
Yeah, I don't give a damn about what Shakira's putting out on the mic these days.
Mariah Carey hasn't really aged well either way, Bubba. She hasn't made music.
She gets popular every, Christmas time.
Yeah. She's got a hit that will stand the test of time. I mean, and like her catalog from the 90s is borderline untouchable. Like, I mean,
and when people think about the World Cup, they think about Shakira.
Sam's just saying Shakira's still sexy at 49.
Yeah.
Mariah Carey is neither sexy at 49, nor is she still making music like Anne Hathaway and LeBron. Anne Hathaway is still beautiful, still at the top of her game, making movies too. LeBron James, did you see that photo go viral last week? Either one of you see that? Maybe it didn't hit your algorithm. Him and Savannah at an award show. I don't know if it was the ESPYs or something else, but him and Savannah were like all dressed up doing something, and it does appear that his hog is out. So like it went viral of people just talking about his hog all last week.
Somehow this didn't get to my algorithm, I guess. I feel like LeBron James news is normally just right there for me.
Well, it was on mine, and people are like, when you see it, and I clicked on it because I was hoping it would be something with Savannah, who was looking pretty good, and then you look, it's like, oh, there's LeBron's hog. Oh, wow. There's LeBron's hog just sitting there. Why I didn't want to see that. But then you have, of course, people going over the top like, yes, I knew you were my goat. Look, goat. Mike ain't packing like this. But Anne Hathaway, still sexy, still making movies, big-time movies. Mariah Carey, she had the 90s. She had an awesome run then. One of the most successful artists of all time, but no one's really lined up for any new Mariah Carey music.
Are you lining up for new Shakira music?
No, but I'm lining up to still say she's sexy, and that's what Sam's point was. Bubba. Sam was saying she has the longevity of being sexy at age 20, and now she's sexy at age 49. She's been sexy you and Sam's entire life. That was his point. He literally said, I don't give a damn about her music. Now, I like some of her music.
I mean, that's an added bonus.
Sure.
But, like, that's not what I'm looking at or hearing at the start.
Right. I understood what you were going for, Sam. She's been a beautiful woman for 3 decades now.
I'm expecting to see Shakira at like the 2042 World Cup still putting it on.
You know, honestly, at 49, these pictures I'm seeing here, she's maybe the most attractive she's ever been. At least in these pictures.
Wine.
Good for her. Oh! Like the She-Wolf song, Bubba, but I'm also howling because of her attractiveness.
What were your thoughts on that halftime
I didn't watch it.
performance? Oh, man, you missed out.
Woke. America definitely did not approve this.
Where the hell was the Turning Point USA's alternative broadcast?
My name is Kid.
We could have had a whole different halftime show. I saw the bit where like Ted Lasso, which cringe, like
That's how America gets involved in soccer.
Yeah, I was gonna say cringe that's like our American soccer culture is Ted Lasso.
I just thought it was hilarious that we had like the Muppets had such strong representation up there.
I didn't see what they did, but I heard.
I thought it was great too.
I heard that they did. I heard that the Muppets were involved.
Animals going crazy.
Like it wasn't just like a 20, 30 second, like, oh, here's the Muppets. It was like minutes long. Like we're going to give the Muppets shine here.
It was after Madonna, right?
Yeah.
Madonna thumbs down, by the way.
Because I saw another tweet that was like, oh, Madonna, she's 65 years old. Give us something new and fresh. It's like 10 minutes later, the Muppets, who are 75-year-old. Nice. He was happy about seeing the Muppets, who are older than Madonna. The only clip I saw was, I didn't even see any of Shakira. The only clip I saw was Ted Lasso introducing Justin Bieber, where they subbed in Bieber.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't watch Bieber's song. I asked my old lady what song he played. She told me what song he played, and I was like, that was a weird choice, and that was kind of the extent. I saw Wayne Rooney say he said it was awful.
Yeah, Madonna came out with two legends.
Yeah, I saw him say it was terrible, and that's all I got with the FIFA World Cup halftime show.
Madonna came out with two legends, Ronaldinho and Maradona. And
okay.
Then after that, yeah, the Muppets happened. And then
what the hell did the Muppets do?
They're just out there just bashing.
Just playing music, baby.
Then we had BTS, and they got like a quick little like
they were performing
20-second pop.
The Muppets were performing music?
Yeah.
I had to feel like such a fever dream.
And then Shakira was out there dancing with a group of, DEI individuals.
What do you mean by DEI individuals?
I'll leave it at that. And then, Ted Lasso happens. Justin Bieber's out there just
Bieber was
a nice little quiet.
Bieber
hallelujah.
was the anchor. Bieber was the last.
No, those Muppets were the anchor, brother.
Well, who went last is what I'm asking. Who did Bieber go last? Was he the finale?
He did, but then they had every body and all the kids join together and sing to kind of end it. Which that's why it was very woke. America never approved of this halftime show.
I haven't seen anybody call it woke except you.
Talking about love and stuff. America ain't looking for that.
It was like
we're trying to bomb every
love
country
thing with rainbow fireworks.
Is it woke to love people?
It is right now, yeah.
Okay.
Because we're still at war with people.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. Well, there was Sam and Bubba's halftime thoughts. What song did Shakira sing? Hips Don't Lie, or did she have something else?
No, I think it was some specific World Cup song or something like that. I don't know. Maybe it was some theme song for the World Cup.
No, Future has that, I'm pretty sure. I'm wrong on that? I thought Future had the actual World Cup theme song, but maybe I'm wrong. That's enough music talk. Let's go to break.
Can't get enough
DGG updates. Still interested? Fatigue? Just want to have the decision made 5:30 on Wednesday?
It'd be sick if he just was like, we're going to do it Tuesday, Monday. I got my mind made up.
Yeah, it would, as long as he was making our decision. But I saw last night on VolQuest, Steve Wiltfong, did an update for On 3 and then went on there and was talking to Tennessee fans about it. Another, I guess, point in the direction of Tennessee's momentum. Tennessee's momentum for this guy, as it comes set to come to a head on Wednesday. But I thought Wiltfong handled it in a very weird way. Although Tennessee fans, of course, being combative with him. But I thought he was kind of pushing back and, basically he was kind of saying both that, like, hey, Ohio State's so great. Tennessee is only in position because of the big offer they've made, while then also, like, acknowledging that, like, Josh Heupel's relationship with DGG is infinitely closer than Ryan Day's relationship with DGG. So to me, it was a little bit of a contradiction. I don't think you can say Tennessee's offer is the reason they're going to get this guy while also saying the relationship to the head coach is so much better, because I don't think we can deal in a hypothetical where, let's just say, both guys are unpaid, where there is no legal NIL offer. Are you then telling me he would go to Ohio State just for the opportunity of playing at Ohio State, despite not having the relationship with the head coach that he would have? That, to me, I don't want to say seems far-fetched, because, yeah, of course, like, we acknowledge Ohio State's a better program, in better position, all those things. But, like, that's just completely diminishing the idea of relationships. If you told me, hey, the Tennessee offer was much better than Ohio State's, but he loves Ryan Day more, he really wants to play for Coach Day, but, hey, the money's too good to pass up, then I would kind of entertain that line of thinking. But you can't tell me the offer is much better, but also, like, his relationship with the coaches is much better. So the only reason he's going to Tennessee is because of the offer. That, to me, doesn't compute.
I don't know this for sure, but I thought Steve Wiltfong has also been a guy that's, like, kind of put his flag on DGG to Ohio State for a long time.
He has.
So, like, to me, this is just a guy that's, like, kind of stubborn in his take of, like, oh, shoot, it does seem like DGG has momentum to Tennessee. I don't really want to look wrong necessarily. I'm just going to say that Tennessee has thrown out an offer that he can't refuse or something like that.
He's
trying to cover his ass.
Well, it's a little bit like what you said hour one with Bryson DeChambeau. Like, had Bryson come out and been like, unfortunate call, we're going to still do our best, yada, 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 people would have looked at it and said, okay, that's respectable. Even if you cheated on purpose, you know what, it's respectable. It happens. You got caught. Like, if Wiltfong had been like, yeah, I thought it was Ohio State, but, hey, Tennessee has made it too hard to say no. I was wrong.
Turns out the relationships with the staff are better and they've got a better money offer.
Yeah, it turns out, like, hey, just the familiarity. It keeps coming back to the relationships. I was wrong. I underestimated how good Tennessee's relationship was with him. Like, to me, I don't think people would get mad at Steve Wiltfong for being mad about that. But when you're doing it the way you're doing it, I would question, well, how good of a reporter are you actually? And what I mean by that is, okay, so Steve, did you not know that Tennessee was going to be more aggressive than Ohio State in this offer? Because that's been a pretty poorly kept secret in Knoxville for the last year. Yeah. Like, did you not think that they were going to heavily prioritize the 5-star running back in their backyard that has a whole bunch of, like, rich boosters from the school that also like Tennessee? Like, you didn't think that was going to be the case? Why did you put the crystal ball in for Ohio State then? Like, were you just unaware that Tennessee was not going to take this lying down? That they were going to prioritize this guy? Because, like, again, we've known that for a year here. I'd imagine Steve just had to, if you're the vice president of recruiting in the transfer portal at On3, you would think you'd have some sources in Nashville where On3 is located. You'd think you'd be able to text Austin Price, somebody that works with you, and be like, hey, what are you hearing? because Austin Price and VolQuest has been pretty adamant Tennessee was going to prioritize this guy. So you don't get to come back now, week of, and be like, you know what? He might end up at Tennessee, but it's only because of the offer. Because, brother, I hate to tell you, the offer was always going to be there.
Strong ass offer.
Tennessee was never going to be outbid for DGG. Now, Ohio State could have made a bigger offer to where it made it, a negligible difference. But like even that, I've been saying for the last month or so that I, had been told like, hey, no matter what Ohio State's offer is, Tennessee's been, willing to tack on a nice chunk extra on top of it.
The uphill battle in the recruiting was always just how you were going to kind of get yourself on the same pedestal program-wise, like as Ohio State in terms of just players around you, probably offering a little bit more in terms of, hey, we can get you starting here sooner than Ohio State might be able to. Like, those were the things that I always thought Tennessee was going to have to sell themselves on. But to your point, it was never the money that you felt like Tennessee was going to be behind on for someone like that. A prospect of that caliber, we've always been willing to overpay in that sense, I feel like.
100%. And even Wilfong in his write-up acknowledges that. So again, like, brother, like, are you just a Big Ten guy that like was wanting to hope? Were you trying to like discourage Tennessee by picking Ohio State? Were you trying to pump up Ryan Day by picking Ohio State? Because in his own article, Sam, he writes, Tennessee is tough to beat for the top targets on their board. In 2026, it was 5 stars in Faison Brandon and TK Keys. It was 5-star tackle David Sanders Jr. and George McIntyre in 2025. It was Mike Matthews and Boo Carter, 2 of the biggest targets in 2024. 2023 was Nico Iamaleava, which, look, you can point out that like those haven't all panned out. I have hope that Faison Brandon and TK Keys are going to pan out. David Sanders and Mike Matthews might pan out. But yeah, like, McIntyre, Boo Carter, and Nico, probably not going to. 2 of them already haven't. I kind of don't think George McIntyre is going to either. But like, the main takeaway of you writing that is actually that Tennessee does go out and get their guy. You can argue it's an overpay, whatever. We ushered in a new era of modern recruiting with Nico Iamaleava. That's fine. You could say that, but guess what? We got the guy we wanted. So you can't act shocked that like Tennessee is going to get David Gabriel Georges if they get David Gabriel Georges, because you yourself acknowledge, hey, when they have a guy in mind, they go get him. They got it with Faison Brandon. They got it with TK Keys last year. They beat precious Ohio State for David Sanders just 2 years ago.
Even Legend Bay.
I mean, honestly, yes. Now, I don't know if he was like the top of the priority board, Bubba, in that sense, but you did land him. You did get him. Now, ultimately, he decided not to, but like,
commit.
Yeah. If you're not watching, Sam held up a gun there. I don't know if we go that far, but like, I don't think Legend Bay was also like a top priority guy. He was a guy we wanted. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think he was the crown jewel of the class. So I would just ask Steve, like, okay, why are you acting like this is surprising that Tennessee's offer is too good to turn down? Maybe you should have seen that coming before you crystal balled Ohio State. Because I think in Knoxville, in Tennessee, we've all kind of known, hey, we're going to prioritize this guy more than Ohio State's going to. Tennessee has gone out and landed their number 1 target. We are not broke. Now, we might not have money to fill out a full roster like Ohio State, although I would maintain that money ain't really been the problem. It's just been like evaluation and development and like making personalities clash. When you talk about Tennessee being, behind Ohio State, okay, sure. Is that all money driven? I don't think so. I think part of it's Ohio State getting to get propped up every year, knowing they really only have like 4 games the entire season, and that's including the playoff games. Beat Michigan, beat one other team, win a couple playoff games. That's all they have to do every year.
Well, now they got to beat Texas.
Well, now they do have to beat Texas, although we'll see. Even if they lose to Texas, Bubba, I'd still think they'd be a damn near shoe-in for a playoff game. Because I don't see 2 other losses on their schedule. But Wilfong was being pretty combative, I thought, last night with Tennessee fans. And they were arguing with him, too, so I understand he's kind of pushing back. But I don't think you can act surprised that Tennessee is a major player for a couple of big prospects every cycle. And they've had a pretty good track record of getting those guys. And the transfer portal, too, I would say. Outside of quarterback last year, we've done a pretty good job in the transfer portal across all of our sports. Hell, ask Rick Barnes what type of support he had this go-around. I get we haven't felt like we're on the same field as Ohio State, playing football, but from a school-wide support system, you could say we're better. School-wide, every sport. Like, I don't know how much money Ohio State's basketball is having thrown around. I don't even know if Ohio State baseball has a team. I mean, that's been a little hyperbolic there. I know they have a team, but I don't know how much money they're paying into it. I don't know how much money they're giving the softball team or the women's basketball team. I'd say we're funding our sports programs just as good, if not better, than Ohio State across the board. Don't come in here acting like we're broke, Steve Wiltfong, and then be surprised that we outpay somebody for a big-time prospect. Hour 2 in the books. We'll kick off hour 3 with another batch of headlines. Bubba will give you the news. Stick with us. It's Talk Sports on Fan Run Radio.
Check out
Kicking off here in the White Claw Hard Seltzer Studios. This batch of headlines is brought to you by SM Athletics. If you need any screen prints or embroidery done,
Still waiting on those
sports.
tracksuits.
Huh?
Still waiting on those tracksuits.
Yeah, we are. I was going to wait to see what Adidas was actually going to offer, but hell, we just might have to make our own.
And where can we do that at?
Well, we can't talk about that, Bubba. We can't talk about making unlicensed stuff here. We can't cut that out of the podcast. What the hell are you doing?
Who says it's not a TalkSports logo on a tracksuit?
Okay, yeah, we could put a TalkSports logo on an Adidas tracksuit. We could do that for sure. 1,000%. Maybe we have to do it. SMathletics.com. You can give them a call at 865-966-3434. Bubba, give me some news.
First off, sorry for ruining your intro there, John.
It's okay, brother.
Feels bad. But what doesn't feel bad is the World Cup. Take a guess of how many goals they have scored in total this World Cup.
Wait, say that again.
How many goals in total do you think have been scored this World Cup?
The entire World Cup.
Yes.
How many goals got scored?
308. Oh. It seemed like you asked me.
I was just clarifying,
Okay.
partly for me and partly for the audience. I was going to try to do some math.
308. I was going to say 275.
The last World Cup?
I think I was going to say it's 304. Like, this is the math I had in my head, but now nobody will ever know.
The last World Cup? Take a guess.
246. No, 218.
The same amount of goals.
172. So 136 more goals this World Cup.
Yeah, but they expanded, so there's more games.
Yeah.
I need to know what that is per game before I mean, it felt like scoring was up. It felt like, letting some of the bad teams in or teams that otherwise wouldn't qualify in led to some, massacres. Led to some.
I like that.
Yeah, sure. Like I think more scoring in soccer, the better. Like yesterday's game was an absolute train wreck. And if you are a soccer fan, you should probably be really happy that Spain won because it's a just result. Because Spain kicked Argentina's ass for 115 minutes.
Goal got called back too. We thought, okay, here's the fixes in for Messi.
Argentina, I don't know how much of it was tactical of them just trying not to do anything offensively, or if just Spain's defense is that good. I'm not smart enough at soccer to know the difference there. But the fact that they didn't have any damn shots.
Oh, that's the craziest thing.
Had they just gotten to PKs and won that would have been an absolute farce.
I mean, they could use the excuse that they were down a guy, and that made it even worse. But
they just didn't have I mean, that's Spain's entire game is they just possess the ball for 70% of the game, and you just can't get it.
Yeah,
and even if you do,
you just can't score.
Yeah, you can't complete more than 3 passes on their defense. It feels like.
I do feel slightly annoyed at the final though, as early on, we got the sense it was going to be pretty chippy, and then guys are just going out of their way flopping mega hard, and it's we can't do this to the game now. We got to let the boys play, and they did mostly, but it came as a result as now FIFA is set to investigate the behavior of Argentina after the final whistle of the World Cup. What does this mean? How's it going to affect things going forward for whether it be 4 years from now or any other major tournaments coming up for them? Don't know. But I think that's weird. What could they do? Would they suspend somebody and they'd have to sit out for openers for the next, go around? Or
they have other events. I don't really know how that works either. I don't know if you can schedule a friendly and suspend him for a friendly, or if it has to be an actual thing that matters, a qualifying thing. I don't know. I know they have their version of the Gold Cup or the Euros. There's other international soccer tournaments. I'm sure Argentina plays in some of those in South America. I don't know which one.
We got a big prediction. Pete Nakos has logged a prediction for Tennessee to get DGG now. 70% confidence level.
Ooh. Turning into mess with my ears right there. Perking up a little bit. And then one last thing involving the World Cup, just so we can kind of finish it. Kylian Mbappe wins the Golden Boot at the World
Fraud.
Cup
I'll say it.
after the Messi's goalless final. Many people complain that the winner of the Golden Boot should not be knocked out of the.
Yeah, third place goals should not count towards the Golden Boot. That's total BS. That's the most insignificant game of all time.
It was even funnier that
And
it
the
was.
fact that he scored twice.
Yeah.
in
Well, it was
the
even
defeat.
funnier that they scored twice when they were down 4-0
Exactly.
at halftime.
It is an absolute nothing game.
And he's kind of the only star playing until they subbed Jude Bellingham on at the end, and he got a nasty goal. Yeah, I mean, I think I side with that. Not only the Golden Boot award, but like it also, I don't know if you guys were aware, it gave him the most goals in World Cup history. That feels like a cheap way to get the most goals in World Cup history. Now, I'd imagine Mbappe is still going to be around in 2030, so he'll score a couple more goals there. So he would have broken that record regardless, I would imagine.
I know it's not the same, but would this be like somebody winning like MVP of the NFL playoffs, even if they like lost in the championship round?
Well, first of all, they don't.
I know like they don't do that, but
The NBA does though. Like the NBA's give the NBA Finals. Like they almost gave LeBron the Finals MVP in 2015 when they lost to the Warriors when everybody was hurt on his team. They almost did that. They gave it to Jerry West once, I think, back in the day on a losing team.
Don't stats in the play-in games don't matter? Like they don't count for anything in the NBA?
The play-ins don't, yeah.
I think this is the exact same thing.
Flip side, would it not be more equivalent to like people breaking records in college football in a meaningless bowl game?
Derek Barnett.
Which we allow. Like you're going to say Derek Barnett's sack record doesn't count?
To be fair, some of those sacks, the guy just kind of fell, but
not in the Nebraska game. The Nebraska, they were trying not to give that up. Although the last one wasn't great. You are right about that. He just kind of fell down near him. But it felt like a legit one. Do you not think bowl games stats should count?
they put an asterisk by them, at least on a lot of like sports
I'll say
stats
no.
websites.
I'll say we should just have stat leaders for bowl games.
Okay.
If you've accumulated 2,000 passing yards in your career in all the bowl games that you've played in, sick. But yeah, I don't know if that's
Like
I know what you're saying about the NBA play-in, but they don't count playoff stats either. Like LeBron, like his career most points scored doesn't take into account the like extra 10,000
that he has in the playoffs.
Yeah, they don't count those for
I
like
think that's good.
I mean that's fine. I mean I'm not arguing about that. I'm just saying the playoff games don't count either, so the play-in not counting doesn't really hold any
That's
weight.
just that. I mean, there's no other comparison because soccer's a stupid sport
Yeah.
and make people play for third and fourth place. But
They do in the Olympics. It was funny. I saw a hockey guy do a whole thing like, this is why soccer is so stupid. Imagine taking these hockey players and trying to make them play in a meaningless game. And like somebody was like, is that not what the bronze medal game is in the Olympics? And the guy's like, good point. I mean, we do it in the Olympics. We play a third place game in the Olympics.
I just don't feel like they don't advertise third place as like a huge accomplishment in the World Cup.
No, but in the Olympics, I mean, a bronze medal is.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is like that's been a standard that they've set of like first, second, third is like a.
I can't say that for certain whether or not they advertise third place is a big deal because I don't have the history of soccer. I don't feel like they do, but I don't know. The NFL apparently tried this, and I saw a quote from Vince Lombardi like going off about it because they had to play in it one year. He was calling it just like the loser bowl and how pathetic it was. And I guess they canceled it after that because they're like the players didn't want to play, the coaches didn't want to be there.
To kind of smooth this over a little bit, with some help from John in the chat, Mbappe had more assists, so
No. I think that's the opposite. Messi had, at least going into that game, Messi had 4 assists to Mbappe's 3. Like Mbappe would have lost the tiebreaker.
I will retract my statement.
Is there a separate assist?
It's
trophy?
it's the tiebreaker. Had they both
Oh.
finished with the same amount of goals, which they would have, Messi had 2 Messi had 4 assists to Mbappe's 3, I'm pretty sure. Messi had 2 alone in the last game, so I'm 90% sure that I'm right about that he had more.
Well, we have an update from Conor McGregor. That was terrible. I'm sorry. He says it was ACL and meniscus. Didn't really give specifics, but says it's the first injury or same injury as the first fight with Holloway. Opposite leg, though. And he can walk without aid and activate his quad under resistance. And he'll be back in case you were worried about Mr. Conor McGregor. I wasn't really, but
I appreciate the spin zone in his post. He basically went with the God had other plans for me. I don't know. He's like, I don't know if I would have been able to control myself after winning that fight, walking around Vegas. He's like, I might have fell into some old habits, drugs and alcohol, but Big God was like, no, you're not fighting tonight because you can't handle it. It's a good spin zone. I definitely would have won that fight and gotten in trouble and like lost my sobriety. So I just had to blow my knee out at the beginning.
Angel Reese thanks the WNBA and Toronto Tempo coach Sandy Brondello after Brondello apologized for making what the league called an inappropriate comment, which caused her to be suspended for 1 game.
Have you seen this controversy? Have either one of you this?
Not at all.
Sandy Bordello is
far off my timeline.
Sandy Bordello is a white Australian basketball coach. She played in the league. She's coached the Liberty for the last little bit, won some championships there. She's now coaching the Tempo.
Whoa. No, I just saw like a quote here in this ESPN article.
Do you want to read the quote?
Well, it's just like apparently Brondello could be heard referring to Reese with the phrase protected species. And
you say woe to that, which you don't
I
want
think
to
there are
get.
different types of interpretation.
Yeah,
Maybe she meant it's just like, the foul baiting type of person.
So
player.
basically,
Hopefully not anything further than that.
no. So basically, and look, I think she's handled it the right way. I mean, I think it's kind of crazy the WNBA suspended her a game personally, but a lot of people have come out and been like, hey, in Australia, and that's why I was giving you the context, she's Australian. That's a common thing that they say about people that are protected by the refs. They treat them like how a species of animals, you protect them, like the endangered species. So basically, like they're like, hey, she's a protected species. The league takes care of her. They're not going to call any fouls on her. Blah blah blah. You hear species, especially talked about a black player, you're going to go like to a racist thing here in America, which I also think is fair. Like I'm not going to tell Angel Reese or other black men or women how they felt when they heard that. I just think Sandy Bordello came out in a meeting and was like, hey, that's not what I meant. I'm trying to explain this is Australia. I'm sorry. Said she reached out to the Dream immediately trying to like get a phone call off Angel, and Angel wouldn't get on the phone with her. So like even in her statement, she's like, I hope that one day she'll talk to me and I can explain where my heart is. And she's like, hey, I'm supposed to be here, protecting players and be about a positive change. What I said was not right in America. I'll try to keep my Australianisms down. Like I feel like she's gotten a lot of credit for her apology. Like I said, I'm not going to tell Angel Reese how she should or shouldn't feel. I mean, whenever you see like what happened with Chelsea Gray in the messages they get sent where she's called the N-word, like Angel Reese has probably had to deal with a lot of that too.
Yeah, I mean, it's not coming at a great time.
No,
right now.
Exactly. So like, do I think that the coach was calling her a racial thing there? No, I don't. But again, it's not for me to decide.
One thing that is decided, John.
It's like, it reminded me of when the tennis announcer, you remember when the tennis announcer got in trouble because he was talking about Venus Williams and said it was a guerrilla tactic?
Mm-hmm.
And everyone got really mad. And I want to say he got fired or at least like suspended. But he was trying to say, no, I meant guerrilla, GUE. Like guerrilla warfare, guerrilla tactics, like charging the net. But in America, we hear guerrilla charging a net. We think racial. Jason Whitlock, I think Jason Whitlock probably did it more intentional. But do you remember? You guys are familiar with what happened to him and Jeremy Lin during Lin's sanity?
Feel like it, but
And then like after the playoffs, like the Heat like swarmed him and dominated him. And like Jason Whitlock came out and said a chink in the armor, which is a phrase, but obviously like what they call what slur you use for Asian players or Asian people. He was trying to play it dumb. I don't necessarily believe that about Jason Whitlock, but that it was an accident. I think he was trying to be clever, trying to be cute. But it reminded me of those instances. Again, I don't think it was anything bad, but I'm not the one that has to deal with it, so I don't know if my opinion matters on it.
One thing that is decided, and in case you've been wondering about this guy, Rex Ryan is indeed an Ella fella.
Let's go. So it was a top one of the best concerts he's ever been to. He had good seats.
I'm trying to figure out if was she also like performing with Morgan Wallen, or is this two separate concerts happening in that area?
Oh, that's a good question. I thought she was on tour already.
Because Morgan Wallen performed up in Baltimore and did a walkout with Ray Lewis. And
Yeah.
he tried to do his whole, pre-game routine and didn't quite work out.
Just thinking about that is a funny thought.
He didn't do a good job on the slides.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, he didn't do a good job on the slide. It does feel like, Bubba, that she's already on her own tour.
Baltimore going country. Who would have thought?
I believe.
Not me.
Because she's already, at least she's got shows planned like this week on her Dandelion tour. So I'd imagine that one was already a part of that. She's not having to open up for Morgan Wallen anymore. She's got her own thing going.
And then one last thing for me. Feels bad for IndyCar. That race has been rescheduled to 3 o'clock today, but it's now a shortened race to 225 laps. They were supposed to get the lead in from the World Cup final, but then due to rain in Nashville, they had to reschedule. And this is the first time they've had to reschedule a race since 2018.
Okay. Go back to headlines. Anything else you need to hit?
Not that I can find immediately.
All right. So, Nakos, huh?
Nakos.
I feel like he had kind of already hinted at that. We talked about the big, like a couple weeks ago, they had the big write-up where like every personality made their decision or where they were leaning, and he said Tennessee. Which I feel like was a pretty good indicator. It does. Him putting it in today, though, does make me think nothing changed over the weekend. And like Tennessee is in the home stretch here. Now Ohio State could up the ante.
Do you think our coaches are sleeping for the next 48 hours? I'd be so scared. I'd just be sitting next to my phone, just waiting.
You can't have your whole life depend on the decision of an 18-year-old.
I kind of think it kind of is.
I think if I was Darrell Sims,
yeah.
Like Josh Heupel, maybe he's resting a little bit.
Yeah, he's got to figure out how to do media work,
Which I got some inside sources over at Malibu down in Loudon. Apparently, Josh has bought a nice new boat. They built him there. Apparently, Josh has built a nice new boat here. So he's needing something to relax coming up, I guess. But between SEC Media Days and the DGG, he's probably not sleeping great right now. He's probably a little anxious. He probably doesn't like having to get there and talk in front of the media. I'd say he probably dreads that more than the DGG announcement.
I think Darrell Sims is pacing around the athletic office like Ryan Fox on the 18th tee yesterday.
I mean, if you're Darrell Sims, this, I don't want to say it's a career-defining moment, but this does raise your profile nationally. It gets you a raise at Tennessee or it gets you better job offers moving forward. This, if you're able to land this recruit, now I don't know how much this has to do with Darrell Sims in his success. You know what I mean? This feels a little bit above him when it comes to Tennessee's recruitment. It feels like it's about the relationship with Josh Heupel, him being at a school an hour and a half down the road surrounded by Vols, and also the NIL package. But you didn't mess it up. You built enough of a relationship with him that he trusted you to come coach there. And that's a big win for his career, either at Tennessee getting a big raise or getting a shot down the line to maybe be an offensive coordinator or to be hired somewhere else to be an offensive coordinator, at least be a very highly paid running backs coach. Between this recruitment, if he's able to land this, and what he's done with Deshaun Bishop, turning him into a good SEC back, yeah, that's a profile raiser for sure. So if I'm him, I wouldn't be able to sleep. Even until he showed up on campus, I think I'd be a little nervous.
Yeah. You can take a nap after he commits maybe, but yeah.
Good batch of headlines. Send us to break. Let's talk sports on Fan Run Radio. on DGG watch over the next couple of days. I will be excited to be done with it once we have concluded, although it's been a nice wrinkle to usual typical off-season coverage. It'd be really weird if David Gabriel Georges landed here, since we're an Adidas school, and I was told no prospects want to play for Adidas. I think I heard of the drive, get about a week of content out of that, how it would sink us in terms of being able to recruit.
I feel like our fan base had to eat that one already with the TK Keys one, and him being like a Adidas brand athlete.
As someone who was loudly on the other side, I'm going to keep reminding people of that every time I can, though. The people that were on here crying about switching from Nike to Adidas, which, by the way, I mean,
Nike didn't help Ohio State out.
No, they pretty much said no, which maybe they changed their tune moving forward, because we didn't really talk about it. It didn't register here, but like Indiana, didn't they just pick up like one of the best 5-stars in the country?
Yeah,
they picked up their highest ever rated recruit, I believe.
5-star wide receiver.
Yeah,
Monchen Sales or something like that.
How high are we talking?
High.
Yeah, like I knew he was a 5-star plus, right? Like he's one of the tippy top guys, right?
Yeah.
Number 8 overall player. Okay. Yeah, like and number 2 at his position. So essentially TK Keys. They got their version of TK Keys. Indiana, of course, a Adidas school. It is going to be fascinating to see if like Indiana is just like, you know what? We kind of like this winning thing. And Adidas is like, hey, we kind of like having a national championship contender. How about we just keep spending a whole bunch of money? And what if we see if Kirk Cignetti can win with 5 stars? We saw what he could do with just grown men who maybe aren't as talented. Let's just get him a whole bunch of talent and see what he can do.
I mean, this is kind of what I was telling Cody in the midst of football season last year when he was just continuing to not really buy the Indiana, just whatever they've got building over there. And I was like, I think you could make an argument that these teams that he's got are maybe his worst teams that he will have.
Yeah.
Like he's just going to start to get better at portal recruiting and high school recruiting whenever there is proof of concept.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Like he's had to sell guys on the vision. Now it's just there in writing, in stone.
And I didn't know how it would work at the high school level. Like I thought they were here to stay when it came to being one of the elite programs in the Big Ten. I think I said I have them over Michigan now moving forward. Kind of taking that third spot in terms of elite Big Ten programs. There's always kind of been 3 with like Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State. I think moving forward now it's Ohio State, Oregon, and Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see if Winningham can get Michigan back, but I don't really have a lot of confidence in him getting them to the elite level. But yeah, like I don't know if Adidas had anything to do with Monchen Sales, the top 10 wide receiver that ended up in Indiana, but I would say it didn't hurt. I don't know if they have an agreement like they do with DGG and some of our players about putting them on in promotional campaigns, but I would think a top 10 wide receiver going to a defending national champion, I would say they at least considered giving him money. Whereas Nike rolled out like 8 or 9 players that are already like in college.
I believe so. Yeah.
Like Jared Curtis from Vanderbilt was one of them, kind of weirdly enough, seeing how he might not even start this first year. But like that's not the same as necessarily them paying him to go to Vanderbilt. So they will still kind of help some college kids out once they've established. Like I'm sure Jeremiah Smith has like a Nike deal at Ohio State.
He's an Adidas guy.
Oh, he's an Adidas guy. Never mind.
So the Nike deal is
disregard.
The Nike deal is Trinidad, Kewan Lacey,
Okay.
Cam Coleman, wide receiver at Texas.
Yeah.
Colin Simmons, edge at Texas. Tradez Green, LSU. Dante Moore, Jared Curtis, and Chris Henry Jr. at Ohio State.
Okay. I thought I saw an Ohio State guy there, but okay.
That's their like freshman.
It's
the next Jeremiah Smith.
It's
basically.
Chris Henry's son.
Yes.
Chris Henry, who was an explosive NFL wide receiver before he tragically passed. That's his son. That's the one that Pac-Man Jones raised.
Yeah, I think so.
It is. I'm pretty sure on that. Okay. So yeah, like I don't know if those guys had anything to do with like, hey, Cam Coleman come to Texas. I don't think that was the case, but it's like, hey, you're here, we'll give you some money. Whereas it does seem like Adidas is more willing to be like, hey, high school prospect, come to our schools here, we'll invest in you from the get-go.
it kind of like it feels like that Air movie, that was describing the Jordan and, just the debate between all of that stuff. Like it feels like Adidas is kind of the school that says, all right, we've recognized that we maybe aren't like the name brand of Nike, but we're going to be able to sell ourselves when we get in on the ground floor with these guys of like, hey, we're going to get you out of high school. We believe in you long term. Whereas Nike's like, kind of feels like it's all right. We're going to handpick the top 10 or 15 guys. We'll get a couple guys that we think are up and comers, but we want these guys that have established power already. Whereas Adidas is like, hey, we're buying into your vision. We're here for you long term. And I do feel like that's kind of on par with what Tennessee's trying to sell as a brand right now.
I actually really like the sneaker brand battles. I'm very fascinated by those. I kind of always have been. I liked the movie Air.
I did too.
That they did. And that was a huge moment, obviously, to put Nike on top. Like Nike was, floundering before Michael Jordan helped them explode. But I liked the conspiracies of Kevin Durant's recruitment. I don't know if you were aware of those, but like it was thought that Nike pretty much made Kevin Durant go to Golden State because Under Armour and Steph Curry were like dominating the sport, and like they didn't want Under Armour to like have this juggernaut team. So it's like, Kevin Durant, take your Nikes and go there, and you'll help overshadow that, and like at least we'll get a piece of the pie with Golden State. I don't know if that's true or not, but that conspiracy is at least out there. And now, like in the NBA, just from that standpoint, like the Ja Morants are the hottest shoe in the sport, but like we don't know what Ja Morant's like shelf life is as a player. But his shoes, fantastic. The threes look great. Like I don't like Ja Morant really, but although I kind of like him less now that he's got his head on right in Portland. Like I think I dislike him less. I think he's gonna really bounce back and be a nice comeback story. Let Dame Lillard take him under his wing and coach him up, and sky's the limit for that guy. But his shoes are great. But outside of that, no one else in the NBA has any real juice except like maybe Anthony Edwards, who isn't a Nike guy. He's an Adidas guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's kind of next up in terms of American players. So we'll see if they can kind of make a move there. But on the football side, Adidas does seem to be pretty proactive in trying to grab those guys. And like you said, Sam, you grab them in high school. You keep that relationship going in college, and then you hope there's a big payoff if David Gabriel Georges, if TK Keys goes onto the NFL and becomes a big-time player.
So I'm having a little bit of difficulty trying to find Adidas's version. They have an Adi Zero where they have a couple guys signed or partnered with, like high school wise.
Yeah, I know they posted something on Adidas US Football's like Instagram account like a month ago with DJ Jacobs, who's like an Ohio State recruit that Tennessee is in the mix for.
So they have Jameer Brown, an Ohio State commit for the class of 2027. They have Braylon Clark, 2028. Tennessee recruiting this guy for next year, so we'll see if anything happens from that. We are obviously battling Oregon and Ohio State. They also have DJ Jacobs. They have Honor Flave Johnson, USC commit. Nick Lanier, Miami commit. Amir Sears, uncommitted 2028. And then Trey Taylor, Nebraska.
Okay. I don't really know what to do with that just yet. Now, I know of DJ Jacobs. That was a big 5-star lineman that Tennessee is pushing for. I don't know if they end up getting to flip him from Ohio State. I know like a month ago they thought they were making some real progress, some real headway there. We'll see. Tennessee ain't really got the budget to go out and get multiple guys at every position, but we typically have allotment to get like 2 key guys in each class. Do we have a second one right now?
Definitely not in that 27 class.
Right. Assuming you get DGG, is he the only guy that you've probably put a big budget towards as of right now?
We barely just have commits in that class, I feel like, right? Maybe the Bowman kid.
Yeah, Keyshawn Bowman's our next highest rated.
Kevin Simon's son.
Okay. You'd hope that would have a little bit of a boost, though, just from like, the legacy aspect of it. I just know we're really low right now in recruiting. I mean, we're 38th in the country. We have 17 guys, which is not a small number. I know it doesn't feel like we have many maybe difference makers, but like 17's near a full class, I'd say, these days, whenever you have to start planning for the 5 years and 5 thing. I mean, like at the top of the recruiting right now, like, yeah, I mean, A&M, Oregon, Notre Dame, Texas, Miami, Oklahoma has 27. Wow. Like Ohio State, Texas Tech, they have 19 commits. LSU has 16. So we're not like that different than them.
I think we've just taken a lot of, 3 stars is our main,
Oh, for sure.
meat of the class that we just hope we can develop a few. And then like this tight end from Oak Ridge, Kenneth Simon, and then Keyshawn Bowman. Maybe that quarterback too, if you want to bake that one in, the Baker kid.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, he's supposed to keep blowing up. We'll see. Maybe that ends up being a high leverage guy. But just like looking at the list of commitments right now, we have Bowman, who you're talking about from Brentwood. He's ranked number 81 in the country on 247. So I'd say he's considered a blue chipper for sure. I'm just thinking of it through the lens of like having 2 big investments in each class. We know Gabriel Georges is that investment. He's one of them. I just wondered if somebody like DJ Jacobs, if there was enough money to go around, enough Skrilla to maybe make a push there, especially if you had the blessing of Adidas, who was trying to help you there since he's one of their athletes.
To me, that's just more, instead of like, do you have it in like your high school allotment? I feel like in a player like that, the number 1 overall guy would be like, are you sold on him enough as a prospect to where you'd be willing to like not spend that on a transfer edge guy instead?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, no,
you
sure,
go get a proven
sure.
edge guy in the portal that's got 15 sacks in his career versus you go and get the number 1 overall edge recruit.
I think on defense, I would still almost always side on the defensive line of just taking the elite high school guys.
Oh, really? I would go experience to me.
I think I would rather – you're probably going to get them a little bit cheaper out of high school. And I think I'd rather have them there bought in versus the hired guns. Have there been a lot of defensive linemen switch schools that have panned out big? I mean, because like right now my mind's only going to Chas Coleman, and I know he wasn't the established 15 sacks a game guy. I just don't – have those guys really bounced around in the portal?
I mean, I'd argue Jared Verse made his career on the portal.
Okay. Jared Verse, sure. Yeah. And he went from like what, small levels?
Yeah, like from like Vermont.
Yeah. Is that a successful strategy of like trying to just get those like diamond in the rough from those small schools? Maybe it would be because, yeah, Jared Verse made his career, like you said. That's a good one. And like we know, like Khalil Mack came from Buffalo. Like he would have been a transfer portal, like big time guy. I just feel like there hasn't been many like big time defensive linemen change schools from like established power school to another one.
I think that is a fair point, just on like this might be the best price you get them at.
Yeah. It's almost like the Adidas conversation where you try to buy in and get some like cheaper loyalty.
Yeah. I still just always go back to like there's no loyalty in college sports anymore.
Well, you hope that there's at least a little bit with some guys. You hope it's not a complete free for all. Like you hope Faison Brandon, for example, and you hoped it with Nico or whatever. Like some of your like homegrown high school guys that you've invested in. You hope that they don't just straight up become highest bidder type of guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like Braylon Staley and Deshaun Bishop. Those guys prove they could play in the SEC. Do I think Tennessee offered them the most money anywhere? Probably not. But you hope there's at least a little bit of a hometown discount where like it's a mutually beneficial relationship. And you're like, I'll take 90% of what I can get to stay here because I'm happy. You hope there's some of that. It happens in coaching cycles too. Like most of the time you could probably go out and poach a coach and give them more money, but like there's a little bit of a built-in like, hey, I just don't want to move fee here.
David Bailey would be another good answer. He went from Stanford to Texas Tech.
Yeah. Do we consider Stanford to still be like a power school at this point? But that he was a stud for sure. And he lived up to the hype 1,000%.
This Umen Mielen dude that went to Ole Miss came from Nebraska.
Okay. Has he been really good at Ole Miss so far?
He's been pretty solid. I think he followed Lane to LSU too.
Okay. And defensive linemen, there's going to be more of those that like are really good that I don't know off the top of my head anymore. So maybe there has just been a whole bunch of them. I think in my lines, though, I would still rather try to develop the biggest talent. Now, if you're saying like pay a top 300 4-star defensive lineman or a proven portal guy, sure. I think I side with you there. But if it's like, hey, 5-star
we're just going to try and get the best of the best on
Like-
campus and keep them happy because we know they're a
Like
higher
David,
ceiling prospect.
like David Sanders, for example.
Yeah.
I would have much rather paid David Sanders and brought in like a junior or senior proven offensive lineman
I think that's fair.
because he could play as a freshman, and then you have him for 3 years, hopefully 2 years after that. But he's like tip top of the thing. Like would I rather have like the guy we're bringing in from London that's like a 4-star project or a proven starter, like even an Ori Williams who's been at LSU and has played, and like I'd probably side with that veteran at that point. I'm always going to take the blue chippers if I can get them.
Mm-hmm.
Even at like wide receiver. Like I'd much rather have TK Keys and roll the dice there. Even with a Mike Matthews, roll the dice there than going out and get a solid B out of the transfer portal.
One thing that's interesting is Georgia got a hard commit from Jameer Dean from Alcoa,
Oh, really?
who is a wide receiver,
Okay.
125th overall
that-
nationally.
Is that recent?
I
I feel like that was like a couple weeks ago.
the
No?
hard commit was in June. Yeah, June 15th is what
Okay.
they're showing.
Okay. You say as a wide receiver?
Yes.
I'm going to be honest. Wide receiver, I got no issue with how he recruited wide receiver. Local kid or not, like I don't know if Tennessee was in the mix for him off the top of my head, but like we seem like we're a stack as a pretty good talent at wide receiver. Oh, Pete Nakos, how about it? Got to get him in the boat. Got to get him in the boat. Exciting week coming up. All right, last call on the other side. Stick with us.
Big Orange Country's
He's up there talking about the SEC breaking away from the rest of the country, saying they're just going to do their own thing. That's a possibility if the rest of the country doesn't kind of help them out. If the playoff committee doesn't take into account the very tough, super tough 9-game schedule. That's going to be the biggest talking point this week at Tampa, though, is like coaches just basically coming out and almost coming across as anti-Greg Sankey. I'd imagine he's going to be taking bullets.
I mean, that'd suck pretty bad if, your commissioner is the one that kind of just puts the death blow into college football.
It's not going to happen. He's just bluffing. He's talking about having the SEC having their own playoffs. Like, come on, get out of here. I mean, if you want to expand the SEC championship, okay, go for it. But like, you're not going to turn down the possibility. We also can't do this right now, by the way. And what I mean by that is we can't come out here and talk about doing our own playoff because have some self-awareness.
Yeah.
We've lost the last 3 national championships.
Yeah.
So now it looks like you're taking your ball and running away and going home. Like you're opening yourself up for the Big Ten to be like, I bet they do want to play their own championship because they can't win the real one. Don't set yourself up for failure, Greg Sankey. If you had won like 8 championships in a row or 9 out of 10, whatever it was during the 2010s when the SEC was dominating, you could say stuff like that. You can't say it right now, brother. I'll take my ball and go home. Relax. Focus on winning the championship in the next 2 years. Are you confident the SEC wins a championship in the next 2 years? Because I'm not.
Not particularly.
Yeah, I'm not super confident in it.
I mean, we've got like a 25% chance, realistically.
I'd go
50. Okay, higher.
Yeah, I'd go higher than that. I would say
too high?
the idea of winning one of the next 2 would probably come in at like 60%.
Because it's like we know we're gonna have at least 3-4 teams in the playoffs.
Yeah, like Texas or Georgia has a 30 or 40% chance of winning this year. You run that back next year. I don't know who the 2 teams will be at the top. Probably Georgia and Texas. Maybe there's another party that joins. Maybe Tennessee. Hell, who knows? Maybe Faison Brandon's the truth, and we're there as well. Maybe Alabama. Who, by the way, I saw a stat over the weekend about Alabama. Not a good time for them. I saw it's the first time that they haven't had one of the 3 best players in their state committed to them in like 30 years.
It seems like a pretty important, almost as important as anything, especially down there in Alabama, just because it feels like you have so many other schools that are, border states that are trying to pick off your guys type of thing.
It also gets it also gets worse. Like, not only they're not getting their top 3, I see that in this year, the 2027 cycle. Now, I don't know if these guys are any damn good or whatever, but they don't have any of the top 15 prospects in 2027 committed to them.
So you'd have to get down to like a 3-star basically in the state to get an Alabama commit.
I would be surprised if they had more than 15 4-stars.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised. Possible, but
that was the talking point when Saban retired, and Auburn brought in Freeze. Obviously, that one crashed and burned, but like recruiting was his thing, obviously, and that was kind of his selling point when he first got to Auburn. Was like, we're going to take back the state of Alabama in terms of recruiting, and Kalen DeBoer hasn't exactly done a great job of fixing that one, I guess.
Speaking of recruiting, different sport, but just a note that we probably need to hit. Vanderbilt's adding a top 20 player to this year's basketball team as Aaron Nesmith's cousin. I don't know if you remember Aaron Nesmith, NBA guy. Went crazy on the Knicks a couple years ago. His little cousin, Gabe Nesmith, is reclassifying and joining Vanderbilt this season.
I saw this, and I assumed that he was related to Aaron Nesmith if he was going to Vandy.
Yep. I thought so. I thought it was his brother, but it's his cousin.
Okay.
But yeah, he ends up at Vanderbilt reclassifying. So we've seen that happen a couple times over the last couple of weeks between Marcus Spears Jr. and now Neesmith coming to school early and kind of, bolstering the SEC strength. Those are two teams that Tennessee is going to be battling with, and they're both adding some pretty talented players. Now, Spears, of course, on a different level. He was the number one player, right? Whereas Neesmith, I think, is 21st nationally. Did you see all those highlights from that Caden Daughtry guy? You familiar with him? I was unfamiliar with him until this weekend, and apparently he is the truth. He is like the next iteration of the 6-foot guard that can just absolutely shoot from anywhere, that has like explosive athleticism to go along with it. They had the Peach Jam down in Atlanta this weekend, and he absolutely showed out, averaging 35 points a game in their 5 games, breaking like an all-time record. 258 points over the 5 games while averaging 49, or while having 49 assists, not averaging 49 assists, having 49 assists, which means 10 a game, 34 rebounds, just absolutely dominant.
Is this kid like committed anywhere or what?
I don't know if he is, and I was a little bit wrong. The 34.8 was his 5 pool play. They played 8 games total, so those numbers aren't exactly 10 a game on the assist. I was wrong there. I don't know if I don't think he is. I looked him up last night because I was unaware with him. I was unaware of him. It says right now that like his top 2 is like Iowa and Miami, which I'd imagine that's going to drastically change after that performance.
33 points, 9 boards, and 6 assists in the Peach Jam Championship.
Yeah,
Jeez.
Including like the dagger from like 30 foot. Big time performance. All right, Bubba. What do we miss?
Some quick MLB things. One, Shohei Ohtani coming back, but not going to be pitching, or they just won't let him.
He's skipping a start.
Yeah. And then I just kind of want to talk. Poor Tony Vitello.
What happened to Tony Vitello?
I was watching the Giants play the Mariners over the weekend, and Brian Wu and Logan Webb, for each respective team, were absolutely. Logan Webb was going pretty good as far as like just limiting runs. I think had a shutout through the 7th or whatever, and Giants were up 3-0. And I thought, wow, Tony Vitello looking like a genius right now, figuring out his lineup, and then they lost.
Well,
and then the Red Sox were on 13 straight wins.
Yeah. How about that, Bubba? I thought about you whenever I saw the win streak. I didn't really realize it was going on until they got back to 500 and had won 11 in a row. Apparently, they haven't lost since the Celtics traded Jaylen Brown. Apparently, that is the jumping off point of the win streak.
I like that.
Yeah. The All-Star break in between mixed. That was probably a scary All-Star break of like, hey, we're hot. Now we got to go to this damn break. They come out of the All-Star break still hot. Congrats to your Red Sox, Bubba.
Also, the Tate brothers were arrested down in Miami. And UK has a new.
I did randomly see SpongeBob standing there, and I don't. Did anybody ever say why? Are they getting arrested for like sex crimes, or what are they getting arrested for?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know much about the Tate brothers, to be honest.
I don't want to know anything about them.
Yeah. We'll have you updated on Josh Heupel's SEC Media Day comments tomorrow. Tony Basilio, Russell, Bear, and Bob, they'll have you covered the rest of the day right here. Don't forget about my boy William Passon. My bad, William. Willie Pat will have a great job, do a great job of covering the SEC for you. My bad, big dog. My bad.